was no honor among thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work and got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages, can't buy their food. Hard times.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Woo! I tore them all down.
And I came here for one reason. To attack and keep coming.
I did it for the rock.
You will rest in peace.
I asked you 1,000,000 times to join the NWO, or you would be born alive.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Bang, bang. And what you gonna do when Hulkamania run wild on you?
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yeah! Fire! I will ride in nothing but limousines, and I will make love to nothing but the women of the world.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
You will know that your ass is mine.
Bang, bang.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. You got a championship belt? I don't.
That's right, I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
When Ric Flair's in town, showtime.
Woo! Sweet!
My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
Beat me if you can survive, if I let you.
Orderly! Woo! It is Rolex time!
Quote the Raven.
You just made the list!
Who's you beat, brother?
Did you dig that? Such a... I am the game!
The whole show.
If I can be serious for a minute.
You son of a bitch! Brock Lesnar! Damn!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Oh, you didn't know? I mean, you're the Donald Trump of wrestling. You make Steven Spielberg look like a guy running 8mm films in a garage someplace. Will you stop?
You don't want to recognize my belt, huh? You don't recognize my belt. I think you're a liar. I think you're a flat-out, straight-up, lying, crying bitch.
Well, not to depress you guys, we would never try to do that, but how is it going? Hope that was all right. Anyway, what's going on, ladies, gentlemen? It is Friday night. It is the Dirt Sheet Dudes, and we are fully stacked Dirt Sheet Dudes. I am Boxman, the gentleman both across from me. Smark, good to have you back, buddy.
Woo, it is good to be back. How is everyone?
Oh, doing good, doing good. Anthony, what is up, my man?
What's going on? I'm hyped. I'm pumped. The boys are back.
That's it. The boys are back in town.
The only 3-man team that matters.
Yeah, let me again, I'm going to do a little adjusting. Sorry, guys. My kids were fucking with my mixer. So give me a little bit here. I'm going to definitely get it going. Have no fear. Have no fear. We'll get this right. I promise. Yeah. Anyway, Friday night, got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. We will actually get into the Velveteen Dream thing tonight, like I promised we would. Nothing else has come out about it, but we'll go ahead and talk about it while we're here. We got a bunch of other stuff to talk about. We got even another release to talk about. My God. There we go. Guys, want to go ahead and get these plugs out of the way?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, then let's go ahead and do it. Let's play something here. Let's figure out something to play in the background here. What are we going to do? Here, we'll just continue playing the other fucking song that was just playing. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and shout out Wrestling Overdose. That is the Wrestling Overdose. Definitely want to check him out. Just go ahead and check out nuclearheatshop.com. You can find all Shaheen's art there. Chairshottees.com and Clotheslined. That is with a D, media.com. Check out the High Marks. Always want to check out Cheeseman Mojo and G-Wiz over there. And, of course, Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades, The Inhuman Experience, and Unscripted Wrestling. Eric, Doug, Daniel, those guys. Want to check those guys out, too. And, of course, for sharing the show, Letterboxd, BOXD.com. Steven Milan, 2 L's in Milan. He's rating films over there and reviewing films. Definitely check out that site right there. And, of course, subscribe, rate, review. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Spreaker. Find us on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Player FM. Please, Anthony, before I run out of breath.
The Bottom Line Pro Wrestling Podcast available on all 5 podcast platforms: Google Play, Stitcher, iHeart, TuneIn, and wherever you get your podcasts. It's run by Jason Clark. Good dude. He plugs all of the holes that we can't always get to because we're more about news. He's more about the wrestling reviews and Rant Time with Ray, my homegirl Ray Wrighton. Also, her podcast, very quick listen, 15 to 30 minutes. You can listen to it, go on a jog, go for a walk. Available on iHeart, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you get your podcast. Download, share, and enjoy. Whew. Man, let me take a sip of water here.
15 or 20 minutes? My God. That's like
come on, man.
That's like a dream. That's like a...
Yeah, in and out, man. Like sometimes you just want a quick listen, a quick fix.
Oh, man, that would be like us just going, all right, let's read the headlines and get out of here. All right.
hey, look, man. Look, some people want to get in, get the fuck out.
Hey, some people don't like the fucking, that's it. You just can't do it all night sometimes,
Hey, X-Pac taught us, didn't he? Sometimes you just gotta put the tip in.
Yeah, that always works. See how that worked out for X-Pac. Anyway.
What a note to transition.
Transition is an interesting phrase of words there.
Oh man, I should have had the rim shot set up for that one, shouldn't I? All right. Sorry about that. Didn't mean that. Sorry. Apologize. Sorry. Anyway, where were we? What were we starting with again? I forgot. Oh, I know what we were starting with. Guys, so in the midst of this whole coronavirus thing, guys, we got shit going on. We got people dying. We got people protesting. We got people that just want to stay home. We got people that want to go back to work. Well, probably one of the craziest states, and I'm not saying it's the craziest, but it is one of the craziest states right now, is Florida.
Goddamn, Florida.
Listen, I love...
There's time for everything, isn't there?
I love my Floridians. I get it. I know what y'all are up to, but listen, just because it's all warm and snuggly and hot down there, don't let that shit go to your heads. Come on, guys. Seriously. Looks like they're going to, maybe within the next week or 2 weeks, Florida's going to allow fans back in the building at 50% capacity.
25.
I'm reading this. It says 50.
Oh, Dave.
Phase
That's
one.
part of the problem too. I've noticed because I've seen 25 as well, and I've seen like different numbers though. So it seems like depending on where you go, you get a different percentage.
Yeah. Here, give me a second, guys. I know the problem here. There we go.
The problem right off the bat is that we're going to be trusting WWE to provide accurate attendance numbers.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this real quick. The plan for phase one states that people are encouraged to not gather in groups larger than 10, and employers should continue teleworking and screening employees for symptoms of COVID-19 if they have to report to work. Also, it states that vulnerable populations, including the elderly and people with underlying health issues, should stay at home. Phase one. Big restaurants and nightclubs are being allowed to operate at 50% of the building capacity. Gyms and fitness centers also allowed to operate at 50% of its building's capacity. While theme parks will remain closed, the report states the following could include WWE and AEW. So that's right off of Wrestling Inc., and they got that right off of WPLG Local 10. And so I've seen 25 too. Listen, it's 25% here. Looks like Florida's going to hold my beer, is what Florida's going to do. Yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
No, I'm just going to say, I feel like this is 100% fucked up move. I mean, I feel like we're going to look back on this as the day WWE done fucked up. Because, I mean, all it takes, literally, all it will take is one person to come in there with symptoms. Because I don't know about you guys, what are the odds that they're actually going to be taking temperatures of people as they enter the building? Because, like I said, because it's a crapshoot. You don't know who's walking in that fucking building.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And someone always has a way in or knows someone or this or that. Listen, this may not be the smartest thing, but, I mean, it's not like we can stop it. They're going to do it no matter what. God damn. I don't know what they're thinking. Smart. Help me out here.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could. Unfortunately, my state, we just opened up our biggest mall. So that was today. So unfortunately, that's one of the benefits of living in the South is just the first time that we've decided to be kind of ahead on things. It's a situation that could potentially endanger thousands, if not millions of people's lives. So, that's lovely. But like you guys said, it's just the problem I have about the whole situation is the people who are so vehemently against the idea of staying home and wanting to be outside and in public and in situations where they can, like I said, endanger other people's lives. Those are going to be the people who are most just reckless and unwilling, just purposely being strident and flippant about whether or not they actually follow protocol.
Right.
So it is one thing, and it's a very tricky situation because, obviously people need these businesses to be up and running to make money and to pay bills. And, especially in my area, not to keep dwelling on it, but we did have a tornado. So there's a lot of money that's needed to, remove trees and to fix houses and shit like that. So obviously the money machine needs to be running, but it comes at a cost, and it's a very risky move. And unfortunately, we're relying on everyone to use common sense, and that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, common sense isn't as common as you think it is. Unfortunately, we see a lot of this on social media, don't we, guys?
Yeah. And my fear is, like I said, whether it's wrestling, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a fucking golf course, people are so starved just to get out the house for some form of entertainment. The minute something is announced, it's just going to be a mad dash. So How do you control that? You can put out as many statements as you want. 25%, 10%, 15%. We're going to practice social distancing, but how are you going to police this? How are you going to police crowd control? In a time like this,
might be a really good time to be a bouncer. Every little restaurant might need a bouncer. A little crowd control. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Might be a good time to become a bouncer. That's all I'm saying. I don't think we should be doing this yet. Listen, open some stores, see what happens, test it out that way. But this is all right, we're just going to go balls to the wall. See what happens.
Yep.
I'm not with this. First of all, South Florida mainly is full of elderly people. It really is. I'm not going to lie. It really is. It's warm weather. It's all the time, mostly. You have a few cold days. That's it. So, yeah, it is full of elderly people. And those are the people right now that are most, successfful to this disease. And it's just not a good idea. Raider Dre says the stripper market is dying here. I read an article where I believe it's somewhere is doing drive-up strippers. Pretty fucking cool. I like that shit. You know what? I'm going to try to find that article now, aren't I?
If you pay extra, do you get to roll down the window?
I don't know. But let's see if I can find that bad boy, because I was reading that today. Let's see if I can find that. Portland drive-through strip club. Portland is the place that has it right now. They do. They have the Lucky Devil Lounge in Portland. Had to shut down, and they responded by doing drive up. I will post this. If you're in the chat room, you're going to be lucky enough to read this. This is why you should be in the chat room, folks.
Hell yeah.
Yes, look at Dre. He's already on it. He's like, yeah, that was Portland, bro. All right.
and Box, we also have a bone to pick with your state, too.
Texas?
Yes, I have an article.
Well, I'm looking at this place right now, and I'm not too sure I want to go to this Portland strip bar. Oh, well, you know what? I'd probably stop by. They look like friggin' anime characters. They got masks on and thongs and pasties.
I actually do kind of like this aesthetic, just visually.
Yeah. This ain't as bad as I thought it was. Oh, a video. Hold on.
Video.
They're kind of like the girls that are in Mortal Kombat. I forget what their names are, but they have the little mask over their mouths.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yes. I was actually watching Mortal Kombat. It is on Netflix, by the way, if you want to check out some Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. My wife doesn't come in.
Nothing says safety fucking like dressed as Sub-Zero.
There you go. This girl has some assets. So if you're in the Portland area, go ahead and stop by. This girl has a sheep mask on and some very large headlights. So there you go.
Hey, at least she practiced safety. God, safety.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. If you are in that area, definitely, in the Portland area, go check out the Lucky Devil Lounge.
Yeah. If you're in the area, try to get in that area.
Yeah. And, man, take some pictures. Send us some.
Yeah.
DirtSheetDudes@gmail.com. Yeah. All right.
Now, in sad news, and this is a club out in Houston, Texas, called Club Onyx. Now, check this headline out. Strip club reopens at midnight. Owner claims it's a restaurant. Let me see. So, San Antonio KABB is who's reporting the story. Police shut down a strip club in Houston that tried to reopen at 12 a.m. on Friday. The owner of Club Onyx told arriving officers that the establishment is a restaurant with entertainers, and he's allowed to be open under the state's executive order. The Houston Police Department disagreed and said the club must shut down. The club's owner told Houston media outlet KTRK that he was not offering any lap dancing, and the entertainers wore masks. God, I love this country.
I hate to tell you, but if he serves food and it's over 30% of his business, legally, he can.
So,
just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's the law. Yeah. So, wanted you to know
what do you
that.
think? I mean, it looks like officials starting to press charges against the owner. If he didn't close, he told KTRK he is not happy with the decision. Man.
I mean, he wasn't offering lap dances. I mean, that's social distancing.
I mean, yeah,
let the strippers make some money, man.
Them strippers got kids.
But, okay, well, since we're already, kind of down this sewer perversion, the thing about this is, okay, I appreciate the will of the American spirit to persevere and all that, but hair salons and, all types of beauty places, beauty parlors of all sorts and kinds are closed. So, the quality of performer and the quality of their performance is kind of suspect at this point.
Yeah, I know. And actually, Dre's correcting me. It's 35%, not 30%. I'm still going by Florida law because that's when they started doing the smoking thing. They brought that up and it was 30%. Must be 35 in Texas. Thank you, Dre. I appreciate the correction, and we'll obviously give you credit like I did. So yeah, I mean, look, man, I love me some strip clubs. Listen, if you're gonna get the Rona, might as well get it with some titties. You might as well have an ass shaking in your face if you're gonna get the Rona. You know what I'm talking about? That's all I'm saying.
I am aware of what you're talking about.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, listen, there's everyone says, oh shit, I'd cut my left nut off to fuck her. Hey, you don't have to do that. Just fucking, hey, you might get sick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I look at it like this, man. Like if she look good, sometimes you just gotta go all in. Fuck it. Just spray a little Lysol around her, put on some gloves, and just leave it in God's hands at that point.
You kind of do got yourself a point though, because like for the first time in my life and probably in human existence, like the stock value of the old punani has plummeted. So like you could kind of get in on the ground floor here. If you could probably get yourself a very affordable deal. You could definitely outkick your coverage right now if you act quick.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know this
is the time to shoot your shot, right?
Yeah, Bob? And I mean, listen, you can only get so many OnlyFans right now, and OnlyFans is flooded right now.
Oh yeah, like fuck. I mean, we got wrestlers on there now. We got Sunny. Oh well, she has a page now.
Well, does that surprise anyone? Meanwhile, the last picture she took, she did not look bad. I'm just saying.
Don't forget about Karen. I'm sorry. I mean Jordan Grace.
Yeah, but if you go on hers and order something, you also run the risk of being aired out on Facebook for it.
Yes.
He bought
You're
something
allowed
for
to
me.
look, but you're not allowed to make any comment whatsoever.
No. He said thank you to me. Oh my God, shut up. Anyway, but yeah, hey, listen, man. Strippers got to make money. I would rather see the strippers go back to work and not have crowds in the arena. I think that's actually safer. Is all I'm saying. Strippers need money. Wrestlers make a lot more. Let them women make some money. Let them shake their titties. Shake their money makers.
I'm just picturing that becoming a big speech. Just all of a sudden, next thing you know, behind you, there's like a big American flag in the backdrop, and fireworks going off everywhere. My fellow Americans, I do declare, let these strippers shake their titties.
Neil Diamond in the back, playing America. Everywhere around the world.
No. Honestly, this will probably be the only time I'll co-sign Toby Keith. I'm just singing "Angry American" in the background. as a bunch of titties just rise up and say, "God damn it, we need money.
We'll put a boot in their ass.
That's the American way."
Yeah. Time we fuck up the Taliban. All right. Oh, anyway, please let's not get back into the Toby Keith thing. I'll start playing that song, or otherwise I'll just pop on Neil Diamond. I got it right here. But hey, my mom. I grew up with Neil Diamond. My mom loves Neil Diamond, man. You know.
Hey, no one's on trial here. It's all good.
All right, I'm not gonna. Just saying.
I will say, just as a funny, a little aside, we were messaging each other about something. I forget what it was, but I just kind of offhandedly mentioned Bob Seger and just put on Messenger that I assumed that you were a big Bob Seger fan. Of
course.
And almost instantly I got back, of course I am. I was like, you fucking called it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I like Bob Seger too, but it was a random assumption to make, and I was quite pleased that it was a correct one.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously a huge classic rock fan. I mean,
true.
So, obviously,
pretty much everything is classic rock now. There's not a lot of new rock and roll music coming out.
And I believe on this show, I said in 6th grade, I actually Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. I had to lip sync it for drama class.
No, very nice.
So Billy Ocean. I like me some Billy Ocean, Raider Dre. Who doesn't like Billy Ocean? He's your lover boy. You can get into his car. Shit like that.
Hey, fuck it. Since we're going down this rabbit hole right now, what do you think ideally would be the perfect quarantine playlist?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a very subjective question. Oh my God. You'd have to have some Survivor on there. Little Eye of the Tiger.
I would go for that. Let me see.
Yeah, you got to have some Eye of the Tiger. Jesus, I could basically just pull up my phone right now and play that. That's what we've been doing when we've been playing a shitload of cards and games at my house lately. These kids are gonna fucking drive me nuts if we don't, man. I mean, my God, I've never wanted to chew on a bullet so much. But
ain't no doubt about it. He's a family man.
And honestly, Bob, Random Anthony also has random taste in music. You know what else I would throw on that playlist?
What?
Foreigner.
Hey, like me some Foreigner.
The notes that man hits on I Want to Know What Love Is are fucking legendary. Like I'm sorry, man. That man hit some notes.
It's good shit. Smart, throwing out there.
I mean, are we trying to go for the literal, or are we trying to just go for things that we like? Because I've, for a long time, been wanting to suggest that song "Too Much Time on My Hands" by Styx as an opening song.
We played that. Me and Ant
did you now?
Didn't we play that as a few 2 weeks ago, Anthony? Or right
I
after?
may not have been here.
I feel like we did.
We played it. We played it during the whole thing. We played it. Maybe that's why you thought about it, because we did play that as a after intro song.
Interesting.
I did. I remember doing it because I was like, oh no, fuck that. I got the perfect song for this week. Yep, CMAT 420. Agreeing, we did play it. Waiting for a Girl Like You, another good Foreigner song.
Are they the ones that do Double Vision?
Yes.
All right.
Urgent, another one. CMAT. What is it? Cold. Yeah, the Cold as Ice.
Dirty White Boy.
Dirty White Boy. Yeah, that is that. That's not Foreigner, is it?
It might be.
No, Dirty White Boy might be. Hold on a minute. I don't know. And I'd have to throw some 38 Special in there, by the way, because I just love me some 38 Special.
According to the old YouTube, it is.
I think they did it. They might have. They might have Hot Blooded. That's a damn good one. CMAT just dropped. He must be a huge Foreigner fan. Man, we should just talk. Fuck wrestling. We should just talk music.
I'm totally down. I was just about to say this is a very topical podcast tonight.
Well, listen, man. I gotta tell you, both NXT had a couple good moments. We'll go through that later. SmackDown had one or two good moments. We may hit those later too. If we talk nothing about SmackDown, I really won't give a shit. But we do have some news, so we'll get in. I guess we'll get back to that. Unless y'all want to keep talking about music, I'm down.
Oh yeah,
I've been downloading a shitload of concerts lately. Is what I've been doing. I mean, looking on YouTube. Fuck that. I'm downloading them right from YouTube. That's exactly what I'm doing. No lie. That's what I'm doing. Here, let me get into the folder real quick, and I will tell y'all some of the concerts I've been downloading. I've been bored as shit. Got some AC/DC.
Oh, Back in Black?
Oh, got the whole concert, man. What are you talking about? Back in just one song. Let's see.
Concert, but that song, that's just my song.
There we go. I got some 38 Special. I got some Bob Seger. I got two Bob Seger concerts. I got some Bon Jovi, some Bruce Springsteen. I got, let's see, what did I get? Here's some Daryl Hall and John Oates, Disturbed. A Foreigner live in Chicago, full concert, Anthony, right here, buddy. Right here. Nice. And little John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. They're actually the voice of Eddie and the Cruisers. I got some Golden Earring in here. They did Radar Love. What else do I got here? Kid Rock. Got a Kid Rock concert just because I'm a fucking basically just a beer drinking redneck. I got some old Led Zeppelin concerts. Lynyrd Skynyrd, original Lynyrd Skynyrd. Styx, Rage Against the Machine. A couple Michael Jackson concerts. Metallica. I love downloading Metallica stuff. It's just like so ironic. And Typo Negative. Got one of those.
Nice.
Thanks to Shaheen.
Any Prince?
Did I get a Prince concert? I do have one. I do have one Prince concert here. Primer 55. Poison. Queen. I even got a Rat concert. Round and round. And I downloaded a few Sam Kinison things, but that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing to keep busy, is downloading concerts.
No. I want to backtrack because I'm scrolling through the chat here. I want to shout out to Ray Drake once again. Big time supporter of the show. Appreciate you, bro.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Raid movies. I've actually never seen them. Have you, Box? Any of them?
No, and he's mentioned it to us before. We need to find those. I think I actually found them one night. I bet if I look through my bookmarks, I'm pretty sure I bookmarked those. And I did find them. So
cool. I
will. We need to check those out so we can get Raider Dre's reviews on those bad boys. How many are there, Raider? Real quick, just if you remember how many there are. I mean, I was watching Tremors the other day, and I thought there were only 3 of them. No, there's 5.
Tremors?
All on Netflix. You can get 1 through 5 right on Netflix. One of them, they even went back to like the cowboy days, the 1800s. It was weird. Okay, there's only 2, so we can do that. We do need to bring Hollywood Hangout back. But anyway, we should probably get back into wrestling, guys.
You sure?
Not really.
Well, if we want to keep facilitating this conversation, we were talking about AC/DC earlier.
Yeah.
They provided the soundtrack for one of my least favorite movies of all time, Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, smart. You don't like Maximum Overdrive?
I might have to try it again now that I know that it's not to be taken seriously, but I was watching it like I was anticipating seeing a good movie, and that might have been my mistake. If you would have told me going in that just everybody involved in the project was coked out of their fucking minds, I would have been in the right kind of mind state to appreciate it. So I might have to go back. One thing I do really like that is on Netflix and pretty much every other streaming service right now, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Huh?
It's a terrible movie, but it's so much fun.
Okay, one night we need to do a movie. You want to talk about bad movies, yet very entertaining? Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. You have got to see this. I have it. Don't worry. I can distribute it to you, gentlemen. It is rare. It is weird. But we need to get it done one night. And I don't know if anyone in the chat room has seen it. I know our listening audience is just a little bit younger than me. So, but, and yes, Dre, the Maximum Overdrive is the Emilio Estevez movie. Emilio!
Yes. That movie, we actually got to get to that. I mean, like I said, it's one of those so bad it's good type of movies. And another movie we should get to was Miracle Beach. You ever see that, Box?
It's nothing like Fat Beach, is it?
No, these are white people. These are white people. So don't worry. No, but I enjoy this movie.
That was not my problem with Fat Beach, by the way. Just want to clarify.
No.
Please listen to the show to find out what my exact issues were, so you don't think that was it. Okay.
No, you can actually relate to it. I haven't seen it in years, but basically it's like a comedy type of. It's a romance type of comedy. So basically, this dude, he loses a girl, his job, his house in the same day, and then he gets super drunk.
Okay, you just named like every country song from 1980s and 90s.
This is actually early 90s.
See? 90s. You just named every country song. He lost his girl, his house, his job, and then he drank a lot.
Yeah, if I remember, I think he lived on a beach or near a beach. He found like a lamp with a magic genie. And she's like a super sexy genie, and she gives him what he wants. They wind up falling in love, that type of thing.
Oh, all right.
Like at first he thinks like he wants like the hot. He wants to be like that type of dude, like big fancy house, any woman he wants. And along the course of giving him what he wants, the genie starts to get a little jealous because like she wants to be with him, and then they end up getting together. Blah blah blah. But it's actually a good movie.
Yeah,
dopey. It's dopey. The plot is kind of dopey, but it's one of those movies that you got a couple drinks in you. It's fun to review.
Well, I always have a couple drinks in me when we review, so that's perfect.
Plus, the main character is a depressing drunk. You know, he lost all his shit.
Yeah, that's always great. But
No. To be fair, he didn't start out. He wasn't a drunk per se. He just was depressed. He had some shit going on. You lose your girl, your job, and all that in the same. Within days of each other, you be drinking too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a professional drinker. That's what I do. But on my off hours, that's my second job. My second job is drinking. So it's all right. I understand. It's cool. No big deal. I could watch that, and we could always get into the "What would your wishes be?" questions on that show. Don't want to do it here. That's a whole can of worms you probably don't want to do. But anyway, yeah, we should probably get back to the wrestling. How many times are we going to say that tonight? Real quick, I have one little AEW nugget that we can go ahead and throw out there. WWE did let the Cody Rhodes name expire, and Cody jumped in right away to try to pick it up. I don't know if he has yet. This article is from a few days ago. I haven't looked, but it was up for grabs. WWE did let it slip, and he jumped in. So if he had a lawyer working on this, Cody Rhodes might actually get the Rhodes name back in his name. So I guess we'll find out. They also let Bash at the Beach slip too. They let that lapse also. So I could see AEW picking up a couple of these names once they lapse. Man, they're going to be looking for those things. I would not doubt if Tony Khan has people doing that every day, looking to see when they expire, and as soon as they do, boom, jump in.
Yeah, well, we can probably lump this in. I don't have the article in front of me, but I heard that WWE was going to they're challenging the Revolt, the former Revival, on some trademarks. So that's another impending legal battle.
Probably,
I guess one of the phrases they're trying to go after them for is the no flips, just fists that they had on their t-shirts in WWE.
We talked about that. They tried to trademark that, and WWE found out about it, and they trademarked it instead. So yeah, they're going to have a problem with that. They're going to have a problem with the FTR. I think WWE trademarked that. I could go to trademark, yeah. I guess I can real quick. We've already been totally off topic about 9,000 times tonight.
And speaking of trademarks, shout out to Jeff Lippman and the Solid Monster Group. He actually shed a little light on why EC3 might have had some heat in the company. And it's something I forgot about. So since we're talking about trademarks, remember, I'm not sure, this might have been in between runs. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember exactly when he debuted for WWE, but remember that weird stretch towards when Impact was transitioning from TNA, where one of the perks of that contracts where everybody got to retain the rights to their character gimmick?
Yes.
Well, basically, sometime in 2017, might have been like November, December, EC3 trademarked EC3. So basically, I guess like 2 years later, around 2019, when he would have been in WWE, they tried to trademark it, and that's when they found out about it. I guess he didn't mention this. Wow. So that might have been part of... look, it could be a plethora of reasons. But given the pettiness of this company, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something they held against them. Like, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Let's go. So let's real quick rattle off a few of these newer trademarks by WWE here. A couple of them you're going to expect. Rated R Superstar, they went ahead and re-trademarked that. Feel the Glow. Definitely look for Naomi to get some clothes coming out. This is for clothing lines. This is for tops, shirts, jackets, sweatshirts, hoodies, all the clothes. So expect some Feel the Glow merchandise coming out soon. The Fiend, they did that one too. I Was Home. Expect to see I Was Home shirts coming out, jackets, sweatshirts. That's another one. WWE Dream Match Mania. That might be a new show they've got coming out or working on. Probably something for the network. Too Big for Just One Night. More clothes. Same thing for everything. I wasn't there. We knew that. We knew about that one. They re-upped Apex Predator and the Dead Man and the Phenom. Left, right.
Yeah, It's sort of a clone version of the Xavier Woods show.
Up, down, down.
They got a whole little thing going on in their like extended universe. I haven't watched all of it, so I don't really know exactly what's going on. But it's like Tyler Breeze's thing, I think. I don't know.
All right, and the last one on page 1 is no flips, just fists. So yeah, they're gonna have a problem with that one. Big problem, and that one is for clothing, shirts, hoodies, but it's not gonna matter. The fact that they have that, it's gonna be a likeness thing, man. It's the same reason on AEW, Vicky probably decided not to use "excuse me." No matter if you can't trademark that, but it's a likeness issue.
But that's weird because like that's like a general phrase though. That'd be like going after somebody for flipping off somebody. You know, somebody in AEW flipping off somebody. Oh, Steve Austin did that for us for years. We see we got merchant. Yeah, it's like it's so general and so broad. That would be that'd be a fucking. I wouldn't put it past them, but that'd be a goofy thing to go after somebody. That would be a goofy thing to go after somebody after.
She may have been playing it safe, but I mean that's a likeness thing, man. Listen, they went after Scott Hall for a likeness. He wasn't even Razor Ramon. He was just acting like Razor Ramon. Likeness. That's what they went after him for. So, yeah, WWE would go after her probably, Vicky or someone like that. But they really need to watch what they're doing when it comes to letting these trademarks lapse because, like I said, man, I would not doubt if Tony Khan just has people sitting there all day waiting for one of them to go and then fucking like an eBay ninja. Whoosh, bam!
We finally did it, fellas. We finally got Beware of Dog.
Oh, shit. Anyway. What do you got on that, Smart?
I mean, I hate to kind of be a wet blanket on this, but I really don't have too much of anything of substance. I agree with you that it's definitely important that they stay up on at least their more popular trademarks. Because like there was a time I think right where they let like ECW expire, and like they quickly fixed it. But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point you get like one of these like big trademarks that they're familiar for or they're famous for, and it ends up like redirecting to like a porn site or some shit.
Yeah.
You just gotta be real careful about that stuff.
Yeah, because I remember it's been a couple years now, but I think I remember one time they had let the Halloween Havoc. It was a WCW trademark that they let lapse, and like some shindy picked up the trademark for one of their shows.
Yeah, people do
and
it,
I'm
man.
like, and like Halloween. First of all, Halloween Havoc is a cool name for a wrestling show.
Oh yeah.
So why they would let that one get away? I'll never understand.
Why would you, dude? Some of them they let go. If you go back and look at some of them that are dead, you'd be surprised. I think we've done it before, but I already closed it. I'm not going back.
Yeah, and I know Cody had picked up the ones that Dusty came up with, basically. And you know he's chomping at the bit for that War Games one to lapse. Like, please let that one lapse.
That one's gonna they're not gonna let that one lapse because they're not. That's one you never know with these fucking ridiculous things they do, but yeah, they've really got to watch it. But yeah, Cody may get his name back. We'll find out. He may get the Rhodes name back, which that'd be fine with me. Back to it. I really should have added this article when we were talking about it before. But here's a little article. We were talking about the COVID thing before and WWE bringing people back in, fans back in the arena. And I got a little article here from, wrestlingnews.co that the WWE stars are actually, some of them have been complaining because they're having a hard time following the safety measures. They have been changing turnbuckles, ring ropes, and having workers screen before being allowed in the building. But Dave Meltzer says that some WWE stars are expressing concerns because it's very hard to do the social distancing. It's hard to do this, and it's just not something they can do very, very, very easily there. So some of them are worried. And, to bring people back in the arena, to kind of tap back on that, yeah, that's going to really calm their fucking nerves. Don't you think, guys?
I don't know if it was addressed like in any of the articles, but what I'm a little bit curious about that I was just thinking about while you were talking is what would be the procedure regarding like ringside seats? Like, would they allow those? Would they push them back further if they could? Like, because, you never know. You get somebody just, you're coming out for your match or whatever, somebody fucking coughs on you, and then next thing you know.
Yeah. Next thing you know, it's COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is also a trademark that they copyrighted. It's COVID. That's Braun Strowman's new catchphrase.
I think we just named the show. It's COVID time.
It's time. It's time. It's COVID time.
Yeah. Jesus. That's funny. We talked about Vader the other night. Wednesday. Unfortunately, Smart wasn't here, but glad he's back, of course. But yeah, let's see. Meltzer, I believe, had a little statement here.
Of course he did.
Yeah. He said, however, they understand not taping any new content for weekly shows could be bad for business. And then it says, let's see, I could verify there were talents in the company who expressed concern and others who recognize the risks and are concerned, but have said from a WWE standpoint, they don't think there is any kind of solution that is good, including shutting down, because of so many issues with that decision economically. So basically, it's the rock and a hard place. Yeah, you can go ahead and Azul, no, you are not blocked, sir. Basically, like I said, rock and a hard place. Yeah, you can go and bitch and say, look, I'm concerned, but hey, you do that too long. If everyone does that, you might not have a company to go back to. I don't think that would ever happen. I think WWE would just look for new people and say, fuck you. But anyway, what y'all got?
I mean, I agree. I mean, it's real easy to sit back and say, well, Vince is being like Vince and, being an asshole about the situation. But even though I can't envision a situation where WWE just goes away, they implode, I also don't think that, to play devil's advocate and kind of like look at things from your perspective, Box, I don't think that shutting down is the 100% answer to go way to go either. Because if you shut down, you don't know. There are a lot of variables right now. You don't know when we're going to be back to some sense of normalcy. So are we shutting down for a month, or are we shutting down for 6 months? Because in the meantime, no money's being made, no content's being produced. House shows have already been axed. Mm-hmm. So basically, you're basically living off the network at that point, and hoping that people are keeping that shit going.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that would literally be the only thing keeping the company afloat, because I can't imagine Fox or NBC, because technically the contract would be breached if the company said, "Look, we're going to shut down for a little while, see what's going." Then contracts could be breached. They could renegotiate. They could kind of like lowball them on money, because it's like technically WWE wouldn't be holding up their end. So, like I said, it's an unenviable position to be in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is. Smart, Smart's on mute. Oh, there he is. Smart, what you got on that? I pretty much said my piece.
Well, you were talking about before, because we were talking about the idea of, them doing seasons. And just like kind of taking a break after, just a random amount of time with a random point in the year. And like you were saying, the whole out of sight, out of mind thing. And I kind of contested that idea while you were saying it, but like, I haven't been able to watch anything that's been going on the last like week or two, and honestly, I understand what you're saying now, because at no point was I ever like, hey, I wonder what Dolph Ziggler's up to. It's just I totally get it, because it's just like they got to do something, because if they shut down for an undisclosed amount of time, it's going to do some pretty irreparable damage, and they've already seemingly losing viewers every day. So who knows?
Yeah, and I feel like, honestly, like, let's just kind of get this in, because I did want to talk about like ratings real quick, because the ratings for AEW and NXT came in, and AEW won again, but both shows lost viewers. I want to get you guys' opinion on this. I mean, obviously, I get it. There's a lot going on right now, and people's attention is rightfully not focused on what's on the television. Mm-hmm. But should it be alarming to these wrestling promotions right now that with absolutely zero options in terms of original content, that they still can't capture an audience? Like literally, literally pro wrestling is the only form of original content being produced right now. Mm-hmm. And ratings are just dropping at an alarming rate across the board for everybody.
Yep.
Because I'm like, what is it going to be like when things get back to normal? Because it's real easy to fall into habits. Just like you're used to watching shit. If you decide, the novelty of empty arenas obviously wore off for a lot of people.
Yes.
So
for sure.
So who's to say that these people are going to necessarily come back when things get back to normal? They might be like, I ain't watched wrestling in about 2-3 months. I'm all right with that.
See, like I said on a few weeks ago when we were talking about this, people eventually are just going to go, I can live without it. There's better things to do. Look.
We're seeing that now.
Yeah, look. Man, I'm recognizing things I never saw in the world, like stoplights and oh, look, there's women. Oh my God, there's beer. Holy shit. People just fucking wake up, man. Hey, but I really, and you said it, and I think you just nailed it. I think these fucking empty arena shows are just not clicking with people anymore. They were fine in the beginning, but WWE needs to, I enjoy the AEW ones more simply for the fact that they've got the wrestlers out there. I know that was taped, but it's better to have someone making noise, even if it's only a few people, rather than just sit there and, like I said, if you watch with headphones on, you can hear the fucking sound guy in your ear.
All right. Take it home.
Yeah.
4, 3.
Dude, during that whole segment with Triple H and Shawn Michaels on SmackDown, you could hear him. You could hear the sound guy. Listen with headphones on a computer, and you'll hear it.
And that's like, man, like just to hear you. I don't listen to wrestling with headphones on, but man, just to hear you say that's like a very un-WWE like thing to happen. Because that just comes with the way you broke it down. It just sounds so bushly, and it's like bizarre to hear something like that associated with a WWE broadcast.
It's just so quiet, and there's nothing going on, and you can hear it. You can't understand what he says sometimes, but trust me, you can fucking hear him. But I told you the one time during that Drew match, they told Drew to do another fucking Claymore kick. Okay, we got time, one more. And then he did another one. Yeah. Listen, man, it's probably something they can't help, and they don't, I don't know how many people a lot of people don't probably watch wrestling with headphones on, but I got wireless headphones, and if the kids are asleep, I put my fucking headphones on. So.
Hey, these empty arena shows are one of the reasons, Box, that you wanted to advocate for less wrestling talk, because look, I tried to I hung in a little longer than you did, but I think about 3 weeks in for you was like, these are starting to wear on me.
Literally, man, listen, we're bitching about the same thing every week. Everyone knows what's going on. It's a weird fucking time right now. When things get back to normal, we'll probably still do the news first. To me, it just makes sense as the name of the show. So, just makes sense. We'll do the news first. Mostly. Sometimes we'll veer, but man, to me, they're just not interesting anymore. They're just getting blah. And WWE is making it seem like, oh, there's nothing to see here.
No, and plus it's just like they're trying to treat it like they get it right with the movie setup. When they do like the cinematic, when they go to cinematic route for certain matches, that's cool. But the thing is, wrestling, as we've established, for as much as we can kind of like hate the fans and they can be unbearable at times, we have truly learned the importance of fans to the presentation of pro wrestling, without a doubt. you can't treat it like a movie because movies are structured to operate without a live audience. You can watch a movie and enjoy it and appreciate it without people going, yeah, you go girl, and all that type of shit. Wrestling not built like that. And it's just like a match could be fucking incredible, but without a crowd to kind of like pop when they're supposed to pop, I feel like it's even affecting some of the performers. Like some of these NXT matches with these crazy spots that they do, without a crowd to kind of like feed off of, it's kind of like, yeah, it was a cool spot, but it's missing something because you don't have that instant gratification of the pop associated with a big move.
See, NXT, they should have just brought in a bunch of sheep. What? Oh. What? Be the same thing every now and then. It'd be the same thing. I'm sorry. That was awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, that was bad. That joke there wasn't much better, but I feel like it was a little better.
You just out.
NXT fans kind of have low self-esteem, so I wouldn't be surprised if you got a "We Deserve It" chant.
Man, Anthony just out dad joked me. He's not even a dad. Holy shit! All right. All right, guys. Let's get into some sad news here. Curtis Axel's gone. I don't know how else to say it, but you just say it.
Well, I mean, Curtis Axel's still in our hearts. Let's keep that in mind.
He is, and I'll tell you, he's certainly not perfect.
None
of us are.
Look, there's a lot of jokes to be made here, but I will say this: I actually did feel a little bad for Curtis Axel, for the simple fact that look, he never lit the world on fire with his personality or anything like that, but he was more than serviceable in the ring, and I just feel like with the right manager, with the right mouthpiece, he could have been something decent. Maybe he might have not reached the heights of his dad or his granddad or anything like that, but I felt like he could have been something, like I said, he could have been like a serviceable mid-card type guy. I mean, because they put him with Heyman for a little while, but they did nothing with it. They gave this dude a win over Triple H. Did nothing with it.
Nope. And I got to tell you, I feel like he was snake bitten from the beginning with the name Mike McGillicuddy. I understand he used the name McGillicuddy. I believe he said it was his mother's maiden name. Which I get it, but that's not a good wrestling name. And then he went on to be, what was the name after that?
I might be getting my timeline wrong, but I got Antox in the chat. I want to say from there he went to Mr. Imperfect.
I think that might have been one of them. And then he went to another name, and then finally he went to this Curtis Axel, which, I mean, we all know where that, obviously, Kurt Hennig and Larry the Axe Hennig, little mix right there. So that's kind of where he went with that. But I am not going to say that I was not a fan of his. Truthfully, the guy was actually entertaining. He was fine in the ring. I'm not, again, Anthony, like you said, didn't light the world on fire in the ring, but was fine. I had no problems with him. They really just never gave the guy a chance to even get a good push. And then they threw him in this B team, which the B team was getting over. And then they're like, yeah, you guys are just getting a little too over.
Yeah, and that deal where he the deal where he technically never got eliminated from the Rumble, and he kept that storyline going for a few months. I mean, like I said, it was goofy undercard fun, but it was something. It was something, something from the sink his teeth into, and it was a fun little sideshow gimmick on the show for a few months.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, they even gave him Paul Heyman at one point, like Antox just brought up in the chat room. So I don't know. Smart, give us your memories of Curtis Axel.
Which are truly endless, let me tell you. I'm not at all stalling, so I could think of something like that.
Let me Google Curtis Axel matches.
Well, I googled best of, and YouTube didn't come back with anything.
No search results match. Yes, Antox, the social outcasts. I do remember that. That was Henning. Was Heath in that?
He might have been. Oh, and hold that thought. I got to look up something.
Rybaxel. Antox is dropping the knowledge. Rybaxel, I remember that. That wasn't bad, actually.
I remember somebody got in trouble for, like, that was under their employ. Got in trouble for making fun of that stable on Twitter. I forget who it was, though.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because they're like, oh, they're just jobbers. And then somebody, like, all of a sudden he started getting walls of paragraphs.
Oh, I want to say it was it was a developmental guy or somebody that was on Tough Enough.
Could be.
Might have been. Probably Velveteen Dream. That troublemaker. We'll get into him soon, guys. Not too far away from that. Social outcasts. I liked Rybaxel. You know what? I was actually a Ryback fan. I like the guy.
Yeah, and when he's not being a dick, he actually has a good insight on things sometimes. Like the way he broke down how downside guarantees work. Those contracts were. Like I said, the guy's smart. He just comes across as a dick sometimes, and a lot of his thoughts and opinions get lost in translation.
No, he's a little nutty. Just so you know. That's right. Raider Dre, for some reason, just, posted the fact that Kim Jong-un, he's alive. He's alive and well. He had made his first appearance today. So good for him. His haircut is looking wonderful, and he's still alive. So that was completely off topic. But could be a stunt double. Like Raider Dre is saying in the chat room. But to tie
up some loose ends here, Anthony was right. It was the season 6 winner, Josh Brettel.
Oh, the Yeti.
R-E-D-L,
that's why Antox said the Yeti. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, I looked it up real quick, and Anthony was right. It's the season 6 Tough Enough. He called them the social jobbers.
Yes.
And then Kevin Owens got all upset, and it was a whole big to-do. And clearly, as you can tell, since we all know who he is, he's just killing it these days.
Now,
he was the
winner.
winner.
Hear something said.
He won that show, by the way. If you remember, sorry, Anthony, he was the one that when Stone Cold had to pick a winner, it was him and the other guy. Who was the other guy? The other guy that looked. The other guy looked like fucking Pauly D from Jersey Shore, but bigger. And I remember that. I remember that Josh Brettel. He won that show.
If you want to talk about just like a little bit of a sidebar, like memorable moments or from people who ended up ultimately being insignificant. It's on YouTube. I think it's on the WWE YouTube channel. If you remember a couple years ago, Stone Cold was there. He was doing stuff, and there was a backstage segment with Stone Cold and Punk and one other guy. And the one other guy was fucking Big Andy. I think it was like Silent Rage.
Yes.
Silent Rage.
That's him.
Forever going to make me laugh. That it's like the only time that like Punk and Austin were on TV together.
Yeah, and that was him.
The person in the room was fucking Silent Rage.
That was him. That was Josh Brettel, Silent Rage. That was him. That was his whole gimmick. So he
was god awful, by the way.
Yeah, I can't believe he won. I thought the other guy should have won. I was like, what the fuck? This show is so rigged.
No, and the best part about it, if you remember, they did like a live little presentation for the Tough Enough crew on an episode of Raw.
Uh-huh.
And his big prize was getting bitched out by Vince McMahon and Stone Cold in the same segment.
Oh no, that was literally the night he won the show.
Yeah, they bitched him out.
2 seconds later, they did that to him exactly.
Got the stunner, and that was that was his prize. Like, it's almost like they realized, because you could tell when he won Austin, and this not the guy to go with.
No, and Vince slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, you mean that wasn't a working slap?
Antox says Josh Brettel wasn't Silent Rage. I think he was. Andy Levine, that's right. God, they were both fucking awful.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny part of the segment because he's standing like right next to Austin, and Austin he's looking at Punk, and he's like introducing Andy to Punk. He's like, "Don't you know him, Punk? That's Big Andy." And he's like trying to put him over like he's like somebody that actually matters. And like 5-10 years from now, it's just still fucking funny to just see him just standing there. It's like it's so much of it. Just one of these things does not belong.
Wow, man. Such good shit.
Yeah, awful shit. But obviously Curtis Axel, hope he lands on his feet. But speaking of releases, one that still kind of tugs at the heartstrings a little bit is Heath Slater, Mr. I Got Kids. So I bring him up because obviously we already knew about his release. But he made an appearance on Lillian Garcia's podcast. And some interesting little tidbits came out. And it wasn't like he wasn't like bitter or anything necessarily. But he makes it very clear that he was burnt out. To the point where like coworkers, family, they just knew it. So I'm going to read you guys a couple quotes and I want you guys' thoughts on it. Let me see. Yeah, I lost my job. Such a Heath thing to say. But I was burnt out, man. Let me see. Burnt the hell out, he explained. I knew it. Family knew it. My coworkers knew it. I was just burnt out. 14 years. 4 years developmental, 10 years on the road, to where it's like you can be promised, you can be told, you can even have it in your hand and ready, and it just changes at the drop of a dime, you see. Then it's one of those things where like putting everyone over for 10 years will take a toll on somebody. Confidence in your drive, your fire, all of that. It's like, my goodness, I do everything you ask and like I can't get a bone, that type of thing. I went through a lot. Let me see. A lot. And I don't mean to laugh, but man, this is like a bad country song. And I wish I would have took more control. Walked in and said, why is this happening? Why are we doing this? Why can't we do it this way? I have 15 other damn great reasons why we could do it this way, but why are we going that way? It takes a toll on you a little bit. Let me see. I heard no too many times to where I literally said, you know what? Shit, I ain't going to pitch no more shit because when I do, it goes nowhere. Or if I do pitch something, they give it to someone else later. It's just one of those things where like when you get tired of hearing no, not for you, not for you, not for you. You can't do that. No. You kind of start believing, you kind of start believing it.
Damn.
He goes into more deep, but those are like, man, like reading that shit, I'm like, he obviously he was very good at what he did, which is why he kept a job for so long. But he's one of those dudes, man, and I know a lot of people will disagree. I'm not saying he should have been top guy, but he was versatile enough to where I feel like they could have got more mileage out of him. Like if you're going to give fucking Jinder Mahal a run, you can't tell me you can't do something with Heath Slater.
And when Drew came back, that was the perfect time to do something with him. And instead they made Drew this heel and put him with Shane and did all that shit with him. And he even beat down Heath Slater one night, which, to be honest, that would have been a better time to turn him face right there. And have him, maybe put him with Heath. Give Heath a chance, because he was over for a while there. Even with Brock just fucking saying that whole little thing to him, I don't give a shit about your kids. That got Heath over. And then nothing. Nothing. I don't know, man. I liked Heath Slater. But yeah, he sounds pretty, man, I'll tell you, it kind of makes you think of Punk. When Punk left, he was like, they just burnt me out. They just burnt me out on the business. And then think about when Neville left. Same thing. He was like, man, I just wasn't happy there anyway. I was happy to leave. Everyone kind of says that when they leave. They just take your fucking passion and they just, it's like they're a fucking passion vacuum. If whatever that might be. Go ahead, Smart.
I think those are very specific types of vacuums that can perform certain functions that normal vacuums cannot. That being said, I'm kind of glad that we're talking about this because I had a lot of free time on my hands. One of the things I was doing recently was listening to the Brody Lee episode of Talk is Jericho. And he was kind of talking about his experience there. And it's not unlike what you guys have been talking about or what you specifically were just talking about, the whole idea of pitching things. Because he was talking about, there's a specific times and specific places where you can and cannot pitch stuff. And like if you pitch something to Vince while he's eating, it gets thrown away, no matter how good of an idea it is. It's just a no-go. So you always got to like try to pick and choose your moments and try to get like intel as to what he's doing or what he was doing the last time somebody saw him, so you can try to kind of fit your stuff in. Anyways, long story short, like he was talking about when he got to AEW, not knowing for sure whether or not like his stuff was going to be any good or people were going to get behind him or like him. Because he was saying that, everybody talks about how good he is and how he just needs an opportunity, and now it's time for him to kind of find out. And I was also hearing on the AEW podcast, Moxley talking about like when he went to New Japan, it was like one of the first things that he did wrestling wise, like actual performing in ring. And he was saying that he was just fucking terrified because he didn't know if he could still go. And it's just very interesting because you don't think about them feeling that way. You would imagine because they have a big kind of outswell of support from people online that they would kind of feel the same way about themselves because they would feel like kind of buy into their own hype at least a little bit when they're being bombarded with compliments and they have a lot of people in their corner. But what I was wondering kind of like, it's kind of maybe a little bit of a hypothetical question, but like, do you think that there's kind of, it's almost specifically done in the WWE to like, once they give up on somebody to sort of beat them down over time so that when they finally do release them, they just don't believe in themselves anymore and it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where they don't really do much anything or they doubt themselves so they perform shitty?
I don't even think I don't think it's so much that as is they just want to lower your stock so you're not a benefit to anybody else. So like hypothetically speaking, like somebody like hypothetically, even though they shit on his run, a guy like Zack Ryder, if they had released him, let's just say after they did the shit with Cena stealing his girl, Kane beating the shit out of him at every turn, if they had released him after all of that right away, like instantaneously, he could have went to TNA or the Indies and he would have made a fucking killing. But his name had a lot of buzz around it. No, they kept that motherfucker under contract for an additional 7-8 years, reduced him to nothing to the point where nobody cared about him. So now you release him, it's like, yeah, he might go out and do something, but it's going to take him some time to build back up the that little that groundswell of support that he had way back when.
Right, sort of the equity.
Yeah.
I can see that because it seemed like after a while that was especially what Brody was saying was just like for him at least just after being pitched idea after idea because he had said, and I know I'm recapping what is essentially like a month-old podcast at this point, but what he had said he pitched that idea, if you remember, for like a week or two. They had Rowan being like the sort of idiot savant where he just magically knew a shitload about wine, like he was a sommelier, and he was like all of a sudden was a master at guitar and all this shit. Like, I actually liked that gimmick. I thought it was actually kind of fun. But that was the gimmick that Harper at the time was pitching for himself. And they were just like, yeah, no, we don't think that's a good gimmick. And then like a couple weeks later, they just give it to his tag team partner or former tag team partner. So like it seems like they just purposely like try to systematically just break people's self-esteem and self-confidence so that by the time they get out, they can't be of any value to anybody else. Which, like you were saying, is kind of what they're doing or trying to do in the eyes of the fans, at least. So it just seems like they would also maybe be trying to, like, kind of shatter the self-esteem of their performers once they decide that they don't need them anymore.
Well, yeah, it's pretty shitty what they do to, like, guys once they don't have a use for them anymore or have nothing or don't know what to do with them or have no storyline to put them in. They just put them to the side and they just don't push them, and then, you know, like both of you guys were saying, yeah, your stock definitely goes down at that point because, well, you're not on TV without, And WWE, whether we want to admit it or not, is a fucking machine. And if they will push you, my God, can you make some fucking money? And if you do get released for something stupid, yeah, you can make money on the indies. But if you're backstage sitting in catering, who the fuck's going to want you?
They do one or two things, and we've seen it all the time. And you could you can rattle off guys, whether it's Zack Ryder or back in the day RVD or whoever. They would bury you and bury you and bury you, and if people were still cheering you, they'd be like, okay, we'll just take them off TV. Mm-hmm. So, like, if they can't bury you in the eyes of the, because, like I said, I've always believed that you can't bury talent. Fans are smart enough to look at a performer and tell that it's not their fault that they're being put in shitty situations. And if the talent is talented enough, they'll overcome that, and fans will still stay behind them. And if WWE sees this, they'll be like, yeah, okay, that's not working. So they'll just, like you said, take them off TV, sit them in catering. That indirectly lowers your value because it's an out of sight, out of mind thing. So even if you're like the biggest Zack Ryder fan, if you're not on TV for months at a time, it's human nature to forget.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it is. All right. Smark, I was just reading this article you just posted in the old messenger.
Yep, we had the business, boys. Foxman, tell them why.
Teddy Hart. Many shows on this show have been named after Teddy Hart, one way or another. And Teddy Hart is going to start naming his own shows on his own podcast entitled Open Heart Surgery, where the former MLW middleweight champion will open up about his controversial lifestyle and share stories from his time in the pro wrestling circuit. I can't wait to hear the ramblings of Teddy. I'm sure Maria will be on rambling with him. This will be a train wreck that you probably will not want to miss.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. I'll be listening to this one when it comes out. I'll tell you that one right now. Let's see. Is there a date? I didn't get that far in the article before I started laughing.
You got further than I did. I laughed as soon as I saw the title.
Yeah. So there you go. Guys, I mean, if there aren't enough fucking podcasts out there, definitely might want to check out Teddy Hart's at least once. You're going to want to at least check out one of these.
At least once. I mean, but dang, you don't think he blew his load on the YouTube shit?
I don't even want to think about Teddy Hart's load. To be honest with you, I don't even want to think about the load Teddy Hart can put out. I don't know. I think he has way more wacky stories. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, no, like I know that we really don't have to add extra detail to this, but I just started reading the article and it made me laugh. And I think you can tell where it is that I started to laugh. I'll just read the first sentence here. Indie superstar Teddy Hart, that's not there. Indie superstar Teddy Hart will be launching a new podcast entitled Open Heart Surgery, where the former MLW middleweight champion will open up about his controversial lifestyle, share stories from his time in pro wrestling circuit. That's pretty sad when your career highlight is MLW middleweight champion. Well, and you've been in the business for like 20 fucking years.
Well, every other company was probably like, no, please don't mention he ever worked here. Don't mention he ever worked here. Please, God, please, no.
The only person to get cease and desist from people just from mentioning he worked for him.
Yeah. I mean, the only other person that probably would have been like, yeah, throw my name in there is DJ. And they're probably like, I didn't even think to call DJ. CZW. Yeah. Anyway. Man, I don't hear nothing about them anymore. I'm laughing. Obviously, you don't hear nothing about anybody anymore. All right. Guys, do you want to do the dream thing now, or do you want to get into a couple of quick reviews and then end with the dream thing? What do you want to do? Chat room, what do you guys want us to do? Dream or you want us to do a couple quick reviews and then we'll get back to it? What do you guys think?
Review.
All right.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's exactly why I said do the review. That'd be a shit way to end the show. Like, let's get these fucking reviews out the way. Yeah, SmackDown happened, NXT happened, shit happened. All right, good night, everybody.
All right. and when I say, Antox is saying, go ahead and do Dream. Hold on. Let's see.
It was all a Velveteen dream.
Yeah, we can go ahead and do the Dream thing. I'm sure.
Magazine.
Yeah, there's got to be there's got to be more news out there than the Dream thing we can end with. All right, we'll go ahead and fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Again, I mean, we touched on this Wednesday. I was hoping more information would come out. There's not a ton more information on what's going on with this, which leads me to believe this was bullshit from the beginning. Velveteen Dream was accused of sending pictures and talking to, in a sexual way, underage teenagers, boys, girls. So I can't just say underage girls, underage boys and girls. They started posting things and saying they claim to have audio of him. I do have that audio. If you guys want to hear that audio real quick, that they are claiming is proof. We'll play that in just a second here. I want to just sort of listen. Obviously, first of all, Dream is denying this shit, completely denying it. And if you listen to what I'm gonna play in a few minutes here, I don't blame him. This person has a little Snapchat pulled up. It says, "Do you want to chill? I would love to. It would be amazing. You're the definition of adorable." And they say, "You really think so?" And they say, "Yes, I want to hear your voice." Okay. This is what I've got. Here we go. Let me turn up the volume real quick. Okay, guys, you ready?
So,
this is the proof. Here we go.
What school do you go to?
Oh. Did you hear it? Do I got to play it again?
What school do you go to?
Is that Bobby Anthony?
Nope. Not going there.
I'm kidding, Bobby. I'm joking, buddy. I'm kidding with you, Bobby. Hold on, one more time.
What school do you go to?
Okay. That could have been taken from anything, anywhere, anytime. He could have been doing a shoot interview and said those words. This is the proof that they had. And yes, Antox, exactly, the underage people in question are 15, 16, and 17. There's a lot to this that doesn't ring true. The person that initiated this and had all the texts was kind of caught being in a room called I Hate N-word. So there was some real bad, and they deleted all their social media, by the way. There was a lot of really, really weird things with this. Once again, I don't believe Dream did this. I think this is someone who maybe he blocked, maybe
it's a rat that's trying to get some revenge because, she's a rat.
Could be. But my opinion, I don't think Dream would do this. Why would listen, I know we had the whole James Ellsworth thing where he was doing it and whatever, but does a 1 second clip sell it for you guys?
No. And basically, my whole stance on this from the beginning is the rush to judgment. I'm glad we actually waited a few days before we kind of like got into it, because so many people were trying to cancel this dude. Like that clearly was him, and it's
right.
And like literally crucifying this dude. Like, does nobody not remember the Enzo situation? Mm-hmm. We're literally like, look, I understand people have quirks and all that type of shit, but the one thing that I absolutely despise about the wrestling fan base sometimes is, if they don't like a wrestler for whatever reason, they'll pick specific things like this to go after them and try to tear them down unmercifully. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like, especially like with allegations like this, these are very serious. At the very least, at least wait till all the facts come out. At least wait till actual police charges are filed before you convict this man of anything.
Yeah, and they're claiming they filed a police report. I don't know about that. Again, that's something that would be very newsworthy. That'd be public at this point. I just don't believe any of this is happening. I think that this is maybe some crazed fan. Azul504 is actually saying, and Azul is in the business, if you will. He said the voice part is him talking about someone claiming to be in wrestling school, and no one has mentioned that. He said he talked to someone in Maryland about that. I wouldn't doubt that. That sounds like, what school do you go to? He could be talking about wrestling school. He could be talking about fucking culinary school. He could be talking about fucking vocational school.
Yeah, I mean, look, at worst, we could say he maybe exercised some bad judgment communicating with these people, because I guess he, for a period of time, did have an open DM on his social media accounts, which, if you're a public figure, that's never a good idea.
Right.
That's never a good idea. I'm a firm believer. If you're a celebrity of any kind, you should have two accounts. You should have a fan page, and you should have a personal account under your real name that's exclusive to friends and family, the people that actually know you in real life.
Right.
But don't leave your shit open for fans to slide in your D, because it creates problems that you don't want.
Yeah, and I real quick, I want to read Dream. I've been saying he's denying this. I do want to read his actual quote. It says, "Be assured I did not communicate improperly with anyone. A private photo of mine was shared without my consent or knowledge, and I am working with a third party to look into this matter." Once again, I believe him. I don't think he did this. There's too much there's too much, what little evidence there is not on the person that blamed him and side at all.
Yeah, and clearly WWE's he supplied them with the information they needed to feel comfortable enough to still promote him. Because if you, like I said, going back to the Enzo situation, when that news came, they couldn't wait. They couldn't take him off TV fast enough. Like literally, with little to no explanation whatsoever. It was just, he was on TV one week, the next week, who? Enzo,
yeah.
who?
Now
they want Scooby Doo.
Yeah, and Antok's explaining asking how do we explain the dick pic? Is his face in the dick pic? I think that's how I explain it. I mean, like, you can't go on fucking Google and say, "Hey, dick pic." I mean, besides the guitar pic with the dick on it, you're going to get more than that.
And like, once again, who's to say? Like I said, he got hacked. He sent it. Like I said, this is what, once again, you should be careful about the type of shit you have in your phone. I don't know what kind of phone he has. If he was hacked, somebody could have took a personal pic, like he said.
These people,
and posted it and released it.
Listen, a couple of years ago, we had those leaks of tons of pics of wrestling women. That, I mean, I won't lie, I've got the whole fucking collection. But it's
not necessarily germane to your point, but I appreciate your transparency.
Oh, so if you guys ever need that, I do have it. Just
for research purposes, of course.
Just in case you ever want me to drop it on the old Dirt Sheet Dudes Drive. But I mean, we did have that. There are ways to get. First of all, you could go. Again, his face isn't in the picture. I don't believe. I have not seen this picture. I didn't take one for the team on this one, but I have not seen this picture. But I don't believe his face is in it. And let's face it, without a face, you can't really. Yep, that's his dick, all right. I don't know. No one knows. But I do believe Dream on this. And again, a 1 second clip isn't that you pulled from who the fuck knows where. Once again.
What school do you go to?
Yeah, what school do you go to? I don't know. School of Hard Knocks, motherfucker. Oh, sorry. That was a bad reference.
Sounds more like the School of Hard Cocks, am I right?
Hey, I got you there. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, just to kind of like bottom line it, like I don't think he did anything wrong here. I don't think it's anything to see here.
Anthony, that could have been your dick pic.
Big Sexy just wants to know what school you go to.
Yeah, what school do you go to, Anthony? All right.
Not that school.
Okay. All right. Look, and I mean, look, like Axel says, we all use the same pic anyway. You know, it's just, you know, we all, hey, send me a dick pic. Here you go. Okay. My God, a picture can come from anywhere. Let's be honest. Anywhere, any site, I mean, Jesus Christ. Like it's hard to find a picture of a fucking black dick. My God.
Yeah.
Type in BBC. It's going to come up with half of it's going to be the fucking British broadcast communication. The other half is going to be very bad. All right. That's all I'm saying.
But man, what scary times we live in where, you know, it seems like at every turn recently, everybody's trying to take somebody down for whatever reason. A couple years ago, you had Paige, because remember when she got the worst of the leaks, literally and figuratively. But like, do you think that this is going to be an ongoing thing where we're going to find out random shit that we don't know about Dream, or we didn't want to know about Dream because somebody has a vendetta against this dude?
I don't know, man. No, I don't think so. I mean, he doesn't. You don't think they vetted this guy? This guy was on, first of all, he was on one of the Tough Enoughs. So I'm pretty sure he's had some heavy vetting and they've checked his social media. If he was on a television show for them, he works for them. He's been with them a very long time. He was one of the first people gone from the Tough Enough show, but he's been around long enough to where I'm sure they vetted him, checked his social media, done this, done that. You don't think so?
I mean, he's been around. Plus, I mean, yeah, I guess for the amount of spotlight they give, even on the NXT level, they get that dude a lot of spotlight. So I would say they probably keep good, close tabs on him. But, you know, like I said, dude, you never know sometimes. People are good at keeping things under wraps for a while, for a period of time.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, though, because, I mean, look at that whole Lars Sullivan situation.
Yeah, but Lars, and they were about to push Lars, and he had the anxiety attack. If you remember. They didn't give a shit about all that. They really didn't. They knew,
I guess not.
They even claimed they knew about that. And just decided to do it anyway. So, I don't know, man. But you're right. Listen, once again, I'm not going to sit here and claim WWE is, this, company full of scruples or anything. But, I mean, I would figure they would definitely get information like this before they would push a guy. Especially as a guy like Dream. I mean, you don't just out of nowhere start talking to underage people. I'm sorry, you don't. It doesn't happen out of nowhere. Oh, hey, let me just start doing this.
No, so clearly they did a shit job with Ellsworth.
Well,
to be fair, I think the intention with him was to bring him in for a one-off. They didn't expect him to get over. He did, and it turned into something, and then shit came out later.
And that might have been a rush. They might have rushed that without, again, the fucking, the vetting, the going through the social media. They might have. But then again, James Ellsworth is also, look at the guy. I'm sorry, dude. Look at Dream. Look at Ellsworth. I'm not saying nothing, but Ellsworth might go for any piece that gives him a little wink. You know what I mean?
But we've seen it before, though. But wrestling is one of those weird things. If they feel like they can make a dime off of you, they'll look the other way on a lot of shit. Even in the PG climate that we live in right now with that company, if they feel like they can make a dime off of you, they'll sweep some things under the rug as much as they possibly can. And unless you do something on a Benoit level, it's hard for them to look the other way when it comes to their bottom line.
But they're also very big into the children's stuff. They're very big into the kids stuff. They're very big into the, the Connor's Cure. I think stuff with kids would be something they wouldn't turn their. Wait, I hope something with kids is nothing they would turn their fucking head to. If they did, holy shit, I'm going to tell you right now, this show would be about fucking cute fucking puppy dogs, because I wouldn't even fucking deal with WWE if they turn a fucking eye to that shit. I wouldn't even fucking talk about them, dude.
Dude, they didn't have Lawler under contract for how many years? I mean, I know it's allegedly, but I mean.
Nah. I forgot who it was, but one of the guys, I don't know how alleged it is. Everyone knows about it, but I forget what shoot interview it was, but one of those guys was like, man, she looked like she was 18 to me too. All right. But listen, and I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with, if Lawler, I don't know what happened with that, but if they knew, like, really, like, I mean, I'm not even happy that there's all these rumors that they knew that some of the ring, the young ring kids were getting abused and stuff like that. Shit like that.
Team.
Yeah, shit like that even irks me with, people say, oh, it was Pat Patterson doing that. Shit like that even fucking irks me, man.
Yeah, and Mel Phillips apparently was a piece of shit. It was not Jimmy Garvin. Last name Terry Garvin. That's what it was.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. That whole crew. I honestly, I don't honestly think personally Pat Patterson was involved with it. I think he kind of got lumped into it because of what he chooses to like in his personal life. But I don't think Pat Patterson was involved with the kid stuff. My personal opinion, my gut tells me he wasn't involved with that. But once again, like, because of the culture of the company at the time, so much money was being made, you look the other way, which is like it's fucked up to think about. But sometimes as long as your checks are clearing, you tend to look the other way sometimes.
Yeah. Checks got to clear, brother. Anyway, to get off that topic, because I'm actually getting a little fucking creeped out here. Anything else on that? Smart? You were a little quiet over there, of course. Patient, polite.
The thing that kind of gets me is looking at the screen cap here with the audio that you played. What school do you go to? They're clearly, if this is him, they're clearly, like trying to be flirty and do their thing. It just seems like, what school do you go to would be a really weird thing to ask if you're trying to seduce someone. Because it's like, what would you like to do? What do you like dipping your chicken tenders into? Kind of barbecue sauce. JR, get off Snapchat. But it's like,
Salsa.
Of all things, ask somebody that you're like trying to have some kind of a fling relationship with, encounter, for lack of a better term. What school do you go to? Like that's the worst dirty talk of all time. Like that's what makes me doubt that this is legitimate, because that just seems like a very random thing to sort of, use as an excerpt, as evidence that he has been in behavior that's unbecoming of him.
Yeah. I think this is all bullshit, and once again, hopefully it does turn out that we all find out it was bullshit, and this person had some sort of, revenge plot against him, and it was just not even worth it. But I don't know. Any more on that, guys? I'm starting to get a little creeped out.
No.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and knock this out. We don't have that. Again, if you guys can find another news story after we do these quick reviews, you guys want to start with NXT or SmackDown? NXT real quick?
Yeah, NXT real quick, because it wasn't, I'll be honest, this week for the shows, SmackDown was a little bad for me, but NXT for some reason, it didn't drag necessarily, but it just was awkward, very awkward for me to watch, because I feel like that's like beating a dead horse here. But because outside of the announcers, there's not a lot of background noise, and guys they're working hard, man. But those matches they're missing something without that, without the sheep.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry. Call it what you want, man. But even to hear that NXT, it adds something to the matches, because they're going for like these big epic style matches, and especially a guy like Keith Lee out there. He's doing all this amazing shit with no crowd to pop for it, and it just kind of rings hollow. I feel bad. I'm sitting there like I'm watching this dude just walk through the park whistling. That's my reaction. Like, yeah, and he's doing like cool shit, and I feel like I should be excited about it, but I can't bring myself to get excited about it because of the environment that the match is taking place in.
Yeah, Keith Lee's whistling, and then suddenly he just goes, "I am limitless." And that's it. It's like, dude, what? But we did get a heel Candice LeRae with some purple in her hair. And the other thing I noticed about that was Casey, what is her name? Cantarzo? Cantarzaro. She is tiny. Like, she makes Alexa Bliss look like a giant. Tiny, though. Tiny.
And I gotta say, you brought up Candice LeRae. It was only week 1 because I didn't see NXT last week. Mm-hmm. But I, based off of this week alone, I feel like they'll be a solid heel couple. Like Gargano talking shit on the way to the ring, hyping her up. That was good shit. That was like a highlight for me.
Yeah, the verbiage wasn't great, but
which I think that was the intent. It was intended to be douchey.
It was more than douchey. It was almost nonsensical. It was just weird. But anyway, I get it. Week 1, and again, no crowd. So it is a little weird to see these matches. But what did you guys think of Candice LeRae's new look? The heel look, the poison pixie is now her name. What do you guys think?
Loved it. I don't know what it is, man, but whenever a woman goes heel in wrestling, it just brings out their set. I'm serious, bro. Like, as hot as Trish Stratus is and was and always will be, when she turned heel, my God. Same thing with Lita. Lita turned heel. Because they amp up the sluttiness.
It's funny. You always talk about how, the women, they love the bad boys. But you know what? Us guys, we kind of like the bad girls too. We do. We like the bad girls. And yeah, I thought Candice LeRae looked great. Great this week. Absolutely great. I liked it. Again, I wasn't crazy about the whole Gargano thing, but week 1, no crowd. What are you going to do? Give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. Smark, what about you? What did you think of the old new Candice LeRae look?
I enjoyed it for the most part. Like you had kind of touched on the whole introduction thing. It did seem like Gargano kind of tripped over his words a little bit during the introduction. I don't know. I guess are they back to being live? Because it seemed like you could have just done that again. But
I totally agree, and I don't know. Maybe they are, but I don't know. Maybe he was already gone, and they're like, "Oh, well, we can't call him back now."
Yeah, I don't know. It just it seemed like he flubbed it up a little bit. By and large, as a whole, it really wasn't so bad, but the whole character by itself, just her individually in a vacuum, I dig it. I like the look. I like the new little theme song that they're giving her. The kind of just the whole repurposed image. She at least kind of seems like she has a purpose now. It seemed like during her face run, or for what I've seen of her face run, it kind of seemed like she was just kind of there because, like, she was his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then I guess it's kind of the crux of the gimmick now, but they're actually doing it as a gimmick and not just as a, well, this is why she's here, It's actually part of her character now as part of a way to generate heat. So they put a lot of emphasis on it being the new Gargano family or rules or whatever it was that they were marketing it as.
Right.
The match itself, not bad. I kind of like Casey Catanzaro because, like, usually when they hire people with, like, former athletic backgrounds, gymnasts, cheerleaders, things like that, they do kind of the similar moves that she's doing. But she's one of the few people that actually makes it not look like total shit when she starts doing, like, the handsprings and the flips and the splits and stuff like that. It actually makes it look like it would be a beneficial or viable move. Mm-hmm. And not just, she did like a couple of, like, back handsprings and then stops like 8 feet from her opponent and then just gives a very weak elbow.
Yeah, Stacy Keibler, we're looking at you.
Yeah, Stacy Keibler, Kelly did it a little bit too.
Yeah, and I have no problem with her. She's very good. She's just so tiny. I mean, tiny.
Yeah, but I mean, there's certain benefits to that, and because you need the small people, and then you need like a couple of good bases.
Yeah,
just kind of the bigger people that kind of they can flip off of or catch them or throw them around.
Yeah, and she's tiny, but she's ripped as hell. She's a very fit, but yeah, looks good, man. Looks good. But all right, I guess we can go ahead and roll on, guys. What did you think of the Newly Bro show? What did you think?
I like Matt Riddle. I think in the right doses, he can be great. Comedically, but this segment, man, it did have its moments, yeah, but it dragged,
dude.
It fucking dragged for me,
dude. We had Byron Saxton as the host, who was totally game show hosting it up. We had laugh tracks. I gotta tell you, man, this was, yes, hokey, corny, whatever you want to call it, but this, I wouldn't doubt if this had a lot of Matt Riddle input in it. And I gotta tell you, I know it wasn't great, it wasn't good, and it was weird, but I liked it for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily bad. It just, I don't know, because you know what it is? NXT for so long has always been about, great wrestling and these hard-hitting storylines, wrestling with basically like the anti-sports entertainment show. Mm-hmm. This segment just felt out of place. Like, if this were on Raw or SmackDown, it'd be like business as usual.
Right.
But a segment like this on NXT, for what they built it up to be, it just kind of felt out of place with these characters involved. It felt kind of like weird. I mean, I know they've done comedy segments and different doses over the years, but to have it full blown like this felt kind of weird, felt out of place.
Yeah, but once again, you got Matt Riddle who's the, stoner, cool guy, dude. And then you had Pete Dunne, the serious, the bruiserweight, the guy that comes out there all serious. And now, I don't know what's going on with Dunne, but anyway. Now you got this guy, Timothy Thatcher, who looks like my Uncle Scott. But anyway, and he's, again, the serious guy, doesn't know the TV, but Riddle's still getting the questions right. I don't know. Again, I'm also the guy that loves and can appreciate a shitty movie for what it is. Just a mindless movie. So take that for what you will. But I thought this segment was actually useful because I got to tell you, I'm not the NXT watcher, but Timothy Thatcher, I don't know a lot about him. I thought he was great in this segment. I actually liked Timothy Thatcher after this segment.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, because Matt Riddle, that's what makes him stand out in a good way. When you put him next to Pete Dunne or Timothy Thatcher, he's basically his personality is going to shine through just because they're so dry. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it works. So that dynamic works. Wasn't a bad segment. This was weird.
No, it was. And of course, obviously Eichner and Bartel did attack him at the end of the segment to kind of, make it, not all comedy, but I thought the comedy part was really good. And I really, like I said, I don't know a ton. I don't know anything about Timothy Thatcher, but after this little segment and just his mannerisms and the way he handled it, I thought it was pretty damn cool. Smart. What did you think about this segment before the attack, obviously?
It did what it was supposed to do. It served its purpose in the sense that it established the kind of dynamic of the tag team with like Riddle being kind of the wacky, zany stoner guy and Thatcher being like the kind of serious badass. And then after they did the little comedy segment, they, of course, like you said, they got to them showcasing how tough they are and how capable they are as a unit. But that being said, I think I'm being polite when I say that I fucking hated it. Like, it was bad. It was one of those things because like it was like we talked about, like, just to kind of talk about the show as a whole. It was the first I hadn't, because of certain circumstances, I haven't watched wrestling in a week, and this was the first show I watched in a week. You started off the show pretty good because I think the very first thing they had was like the match between Phantasma and Swerve, and then you had the women's match. The women's match was solid. The cruiserweight match, like I just mentioned, was good. This was like the first segment that I saw that would maybe go, you know what? I think I'd be good if I just kept this 1 week span of not watching wrestling I have, just extend it into the rest of my life. It was just absolutely. Like, the thing is like, in order to do good comedy is all about timing. And they had the kind of timing that, like, would be if you watched a video online that you, like, downloaded, or you had a bad connection and, like, the sound was off with the picture. Mm-hmm. That's what like, everybody was trying to do their own little zany thing, and like it didn't flow well. It seemed like everybody was trying to do their own thing, and there was just no like cohesion behind it. And if you want to see it done well, there was like the season of NXT. It was they did a quiz show where you had to guess what your pro would say or what your rookie would say, mm-hmm. And it was the same exact thing where they just magically knew each other's answers. It was between Daniel Bryan and Derek Bateman / EC3. And it was done a lot better. So if you could seek that out online, it's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah,
that they did a lot better job there. I like both guys. I like Riddle. I haven't really seen that much Thatcher just because the independent shows that he's on or was on, I was never really into, because I think he's more like a Beyond guy, and I've never really been super into Beyond. But like, they're both solid guys, but just something about the segment, just like you said, it fucking dragged. It was just not very funny, not very enjoyable. It was just kind of painful. Like, it was almost embarrassing watching it. And like I like 99% of the comedic stuff that Rhodes been doing. It's just there's just something about this that just didn't land. Like Thatcher isn't necessarily, he doesn't fit the role as well in my opinion as Dunn had been fitting it. And I guess what they were saying during the show is it just still the travel ban is the problem with why he's not been around.
You see, I kind of disagree, but I'm also a little biased because I don't care for Pete Dunne. I think Thatcher fits the role better.
Maybe. I mean, this is the first time I've seen him in that role in terms of a segment. I did see them team up before, but in terms of an actual like promo segment, this is the first of theirs that I've seen together. So it might grow on me over time, but just it was not a very good introduction for me as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and again, I wanted to make sure I put out the fact that I'm not a huge fan of Pete Dunne, so that might sway my decision just a little bit there.
You just want to commit that to audio.
I do. I just want to make sure that's out there. So, yeah.
So my main two conversation pieces from NXT this week I wanted to get into was first the Drake Maverick situation.
Yes.
What do you guys think about them basically turning his real life situation into a storyline fodder? Because obviously the release was very much real. So if they decide through this to overturn it, how does that make them look in terms of everybody else that did legitimately get released? And then also, if the release does still stand, it kind of gross on the company's part to leverage this guy putting out a video where he wasn't acting for the cameras. Yeah, like I said, he might have turned it up a little bit for social media purposes, but at the same time, he literally had just found out he got fired when he put that video out. So the emotion was very much raw and real. And I'm conflicted on it because I get it. He's still technically under contract for the next 90 days. He's still collecting a paycheck. But I don't know, man. It comes across a little gross, a little scummy to leverage real life emotion under these circumstances for TV purposes.
It's like a cock tease. It's like, yeah, you're still going to leave, but can we turn your whole emotional video where, you just basically cry and just basically turn it into a storyline so we can get rid of you?
No, it's good shit. We make movies and it's real. It's like they're treating this shit like a human interest story.
Listen, I'm sure there's a part of him that just wants to look at everyone and go, fuck you. But Drake seems like a good guy who tries to do the right thing. And I don't know, man. I think it's stupid they're doing this, but it in no way does it surprise me they're doing it, because this is exactly their MO. Ooh, it went viral. Ooh, capitalize now. Let's try to make some money off this guy before he's fucking gone after this tournament.
Yeah, man. Like look, I shouldn't be surprised. We've seen them do this before, man. But it just feels like gross, because if anybody looked at that video, man, like that was raw emotion. That was real emotion. And to take that, because let's be honest, if he hadn't put that video out, he would have been just another casualty. You would have never saw this motherfucker again. Mm-hmm. The minute that shit went viral and they saw the attention that it was getting, we can do something with this. Because he would have taped these matches. He probably would have been out. They probably would have jobbed him out twice, and he would have been gone. But now they're extending this shit. And like I said, it just comes across very, very easy.
Fucking vultures, man. They're vultures, and this is what they do. But listen, if for some strange reason they decide to keep him, and this turns out to be an actual storyline, I'll back off it. But as far as I'm concerned right now, I think this is like I said in the beginning, it's like a cock tease for the guy, and I feel horrible for him, because and again, it has nothing to do with the fact that if you watch that video, he wasn't really upset by being let go. He was upset that he wasn't going to be able to say bye to people. And he wasn't going to be able to, see the people that he really cared about. That's really when he started getting emotional. And again, that was the part of the video that was the main part of the video I took, is that he made friends and he's just just seems like a good guy, man. That video made him seem like an even better guy than that, than he seemed like that anyway to me, but Rockstar Spud, man. So there you go. Smark, anything on the old Rockstar Spud there? Sure. Drake Maverick.
Well, I can totally agree 100% with everything that you guys have said. This sort of fact that it is a little bit cheap and a little bit dirty, but to judge it for what it is, like as a segment, as a piece of television art, however you want to look at it, I really kind of like it. Like it's very personal. It feels very real because it pretty much is very real. Like he definitely, he seems like he wants to be there. It seems like it matters a lot to him, and it gives you a reason to care about him. And that's the number one thing. That's the number one goal for anybody that's on their rosters, is to provide a reason for you to care about them and to want to see them persevere and achieve, success. And the thing about it is like, yeah, I get that they're kind of playing with his life a little bit, but like, that's kind of the thing you have to accept when you watch any of their programming. Mm-hmm. Just the whole, the meta element of it is just essentially that you're watching like a millionaire just play with people's lives like they're toys. Like that's everybody on the roster is his plaything essentially. So if you can kind of accept that he's going to get hot on people, he's going to get cold on people, he's going to throw people away when they have exceeded their usefulness to him. Like that's anybody on the roster. And if you can kind of accept that, you can kind of move on and be able to appreciate this for what it is. Because I'm genuinely curious what's going to happen to him. I'm genuinely wanting to see him succeed, and that wasn't the case before. And I think even if this is, like you said, just a tease, and they do end up getting rid of him, now he's seen as a sympathetic figure. So I feel like it's going to be beneficial to him either way, even if he does end up getting ultimately released, and then whenever things go back to normal, he's back with Impact or he's AEW or somewhere else. He's going to have, I feel like, a little bit of a upswell of support, because he already had his kind of fan base before he got signed. I didn't really watch him when he was in TNA at the time, but he definitely had a fan base, and I feel like however this ends up playing out, I feel like it's going to increase.
Yeah, I mean, it will. And like I said, Smart, that excellent point. I mean, I get it. You kind of got to accept the bullshit of how wrestling is run. It's never really been a business about being run on the up and up. It's just like one of those deals where, you watch that video, he's like, I promise, if this ends up being it for me, you're going to get the very best of me in these last, couple matches, and thank you, WWE, for letting me come back and do these matches. He's going out there and he's busting his ass and he's doing all this crazy shit with the expectation that maybe I can save my job. And that's the part that kind of like, I'd rather you just say, you know what, fucking, we're done with you. And, job him out in the first match and just kind of keep it moving. It's almost like, taking a horse out back, putting that one bullet in him and calling it a day. But when you extend it, it's kind of like, teasing you with pussy that you're never going to get type of situation. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like.
Cock tease. It's a cock tease. That's what I said before. Literally, it's the stripper that's lap dancing, and you think you're going to take her home, and you ain't taking her home. You ain't taking her home. There ain't no way. Yeah. But, yeah, man.
It kind of, to me, a little bit, if for much different reasons, but it kind of draws a little bit, in my opinion, like a parallel to what they're doing with Jeff Hardy right now, where it's like they're just being very real, and they're kind of like peeling off the band-aids and just kind of letting raw emotion just kind of fester out and play itself out in front of the television screen. And it's like, yeah, it is a little bit dirty and it can be kind of uncomfortable at times, but it's real, if anything. And I feel like there's a certain level, even if it's just morbid curiosity, that makes it captivating.
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think what else I want to bring up. And again, I'm sorry I had to take a little break, but
sure. Talk about NXT real quick, to Anthony's point that he made a while back about the whole people not being around, and people doing like these big, potentially dangerous, like high spots and stuff to no reaction and trying to, garner a reaction. There was a part in that match that I mentioned earlier, the one of the interim cruiserweight title matches with Phantasma, where he did like a tope, I think it was, off the top, and they had the championship, or not the championship, but the trophy at ringside, and he hits the dive and he lands on Strickland or whatever, and it's this nice big dive, and then he motions, locks eyes on the trophy and motions towards the trophy, like to put in perspective that this is what he's fighting for. But like, he's clearly motioning that, he's trying to win the belt, or win the trophy. He's trying to do it so that it would be like, under normal circumstances, the crowd would pop, but there's nobody there. So it just looked very weird. Like, he was clearly signaling to get a big reaction and there was no crowd there. So it's just more of like what we've been laughing about or talking about, mentioning, is this: there's been so many spots where they're clearly trying to get a response, or it's just like within their DNA this is the part where I pause for applause, and it's just not coming, and it's some of it just looks really ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, to be a little fair, he is just debuting. He is used to crowds. He hasn't been doing this for 8 weeks like a lot of the other guys have. So,
true. And for what it's worth, I will say, just to be fair, I was a big fan of his when he was on Lucha Underground.
King Cuerno, absolutely, yeah. King Cuerno.
I really liked the guy's work, but there's just a moment there that just looks so very awkward. It was a good match, though.
Yeah, but again, I mean, just to be a little fair to the guy, he hasn't been doing this for 8 weeks like these guys have, and it was not his debut, but it was his in-ring debut, I believe, right?
Yeah. And I liked Swerve's little post-match promo where he basically put him over. Said, I know that guy. I knew him before he got to NXT, so like a nice little nod to history. Yeah,
that wasn't bad at all. But that was definitely, it was a weird match in a way, but it was still a good match, absolutely.
Kind of.
I feel like this is the part of the show where we should play Boys to Men's End of the Road.
No.
Because I'm talking for the systematic. What do you guys think about potentially the systematic breaking down of the NXT Women's Division? You feel like Charlotte's going to go on a tear?
Yep.
Until Rhea gets her rematch?
Yeah, they are really. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are like, well, that's the best way. The Charlotte being NXT champion's the way to go. I'm sorry. I think that division was incredible, just the way it was. I don't think they needed her, and I don't think it's the right way to go.
Oh,
Mia!
I don't know how I feel about that, bro. And Io Shirai's next on the hit list. And look,
yep.
I haven't read any spoilers or anything like that, but I don't need to. It doesn't matter. I already know that Charlotte's taking that match.
Yeah,
and I just hope they don't go on a tap out brigade with this shit.
Yeah, we, all three of us, have been praising the NXT women's division as probably the best women's division, around right now. And then I just don't think this was necessary. I mean, again, I may be in the minority on this, but I don't give a fuck. I don't think Charlotte needed to go to NXT to help the show, to do anything. Their women's division was not just fine. It was just perfect. There was no reason for her to go there, in my opinion. Sorry. Anthony, quit fucking smacking your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I had a tech issue that I was trying to go under.
Bastard, you shit fucking work, you son of a bitch. All right, okay. Smart. Do you really think she needs that title? Do you really think it was necessary? I get it. They were trying to bump the NXT ratings. I don't think this was the right move. But anyway, go ahead.
Like, I don't know. It just seems to me like they're not unlike how they did with the Universal title, I guess, by giving it to Goldberg. But it seems like they're giving her the title as a benefit, as a favor, as a treat for her. Like, it seems like they're working in the best interest for her, trying to do what benefits her, and maybe not what benefits the division as a whole. And it seems like, which is a shame, because like you said, the division, in my opinion, was perfect as it is. And it seems like now it's become more about, and I mean, this might be an argument of semantics, but it seems like it's become more about beating Charlotte and not so much winning the title. It seems like the title's almost secondary. It seems like that's what it's going to be, and it's already become, but what's going to be in the next couple of weeks, months, however long it is that they're going to keep it on her. And I feel like it kind of is a bigger issue of what's wrong with the company, like, as a whole, not just NXT, but WWE in general, is anytime, like, this was seen as the solution to their ratings problem. And it's like, it just seems like it's more of the same, where it's like, okay, the problem is that the ratings are down. Well, are we building new stars properly? Do we have enough people coming in that are credible, viable individuals that look and feel like stars? Like, well, that's not important. Let's just put it on somebody that we've already established, that's already important, that we've already put our time and effort and resources in. And it's like, well, if she was what they thought that she was, how come the shows that she's been on have been going down in ratings too? Where it's like, if she is a big ratings draw, why is Raw ratings now? Why is SmackDown ratings now when she's been on both of those shows? Like, I don't feel like it's the solution. I feel like you're missing part of your roof, and you're working on fixing you're changing doorknobs, putting in new doorknobs when you have a giant hole in your roof. It's like, you're not really addressing the problem.
Yeah, man. Really good fucking points right there. Especially the fact that you said that it seems like it's more about beating Charlotte and not about getting the title.
Uh-huh.
I think that's probably exactly, what I've been trying to say but couldn't say. That's perfect right there. That's exactly what it is now. Now it's all about beating Charlotte, and it's not about that NXT title, which they made that title seem like it was so gotta have it. Now it's just like, oh, I've got to beat Charlotte. Great point, man. Great point.
Yeah, my whole thing is, and this is not to take away anything from Charlotte's talent, because the woman's talented. I get it. She is. But two things. I just feel like you're running the risk of marginalizing an entire division that a lot of care and effort and time and patience has been put into building up. Because you look at the women's division pre-Charlotte, every woman had a defined character. Every woman felt different. Now it just feels like they're setting up a little factory of women just to feed to Charlotte, because, well, she did a promo about it not too long ago. I've done everything there is to do on Raw. I've done everything there is to do on SmackDown. What? And then you take something that wasn't broken, that didn't really need any enhancements, and you're basically, in order to essentially give her something to do, you're going to insert her into a situation where she doesn't fit. She's that circle that they're trying to squeeze into a square peg right now. And it's going to, like I said, marginalize and tear down a division that doesn't need it right now. Like, say what you want about NXT's ratings, but I feel like And Box, you pointed this out several times. Part of the reason why their ratings kind of level off at a certain point is because people can watch it the next day. They can watch it on the network whenever they want. They can watch it on Hulu. If you take away those replays, maybe the numbers go up. Maybe. But with AEW, people feel a need to. There's not an instantaneous replay of AEW anymore, so that's the show that has the more urgency behind it. I got to see what's going to happen on AEW this week.
Yeah,
and I can watch whenever. But I don't know, man. I just this whole notion, and also, can we put this to bed? Look, I get it. Nature Boy's getting up there in years, and they're trying to get her up to 16 titles. But do these still look? It's 2020. The fact that she's been wrestling for 4 years and is already like a 10, 11-time champion is a goddamn disgrace. It really is. I get it. She's the daughter of Ric Flair, and you want to kind of have that, the first father and daughter, 16-time world champion. None of her reigns though feel organic at all. They at this point, I'll be honest with you, they bleed together. I can't name one run that really stood out to me as being better or worse than the other one.
Because you're right, they just bleed together because they just throw the fucking title on her. And it's funny, we're, like I said, all three of us are kind of in the minority thinking that it just didn't need to be done. From all the podcasts that I listen to, everyone is like, oh, this is the perfect way to go. Charlotte's such a, she's so great, the best I've seen in the last 20 years. Huh? To me, every single one of those fucking women that they were pushing in NXT was better than her. That's my opinion. So, I don't know. You guys want to get into the main event real quick?
Yeah, I mean, Keith Lee, Damian Priest, it was a solid match, and did what it had to do. In comparison to his matches with Dijakovic, it kind of fell a little short for me, but the effort was there.
Dijakovic's kind of a different wrestler than Punishment or Damian Priest right now, but I don't know, man. I enjoyed the match. Keith Lee is really, really great, but man, he's kind of a corny guy. That whole "I am limitless" was like, dude, that didn't need to be done, did it? All right.
Hey, look, guys that big.
I know.
When a guy's that big, he can say and do whatever the fuck he wants.
I know.
Pretty much.
I know. But the match to me, really, no issues with it, no problems with it. Keith Lee, fucking great still. To be that big and be able to do what he does is just fucking amazing. Damian Priest, still a work in progress for NXT. For NXT, I really think Damian Priest is just fine. I mean, in the ring and great, but I don't know. But the character obviously is still a work in progress, but no issues from me. Smart.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the match as a whole was pretty good. I'm really, we've talked about it before, and it just continues to kind of surprise me. Like I've said before, and I'll probably end up saying again, I was never really a big Punishment Martinez fan when I was watching him in Ring of Honor, but there's just something about the way that he's transitioned into NXT that's just been very fascinating. Like I'm just really starting to get behind his whole look, and he just has this very sort of kind of dark, sleazy, he looks like he's like a club promoter that purposely hires underage girls or some shit. He has this very creepy, sleazy kind of vibe about it. And I just really dig. It's great. It was kind of when I was watching him, I was kind of feeling like he is what they wanted Baron Corbin to be when he first started off, but he just didn't have the chops to make it happen.
Baron Corbin should have been a bar owner that hired underage girls. Well,
I guess that's a pretty shitty way of putting him over, I guess. But I mean, he just has this overall scumbag vibe. But like, no, before he started wearing his like King Corbin attire and the whole like vest and slacks and shit that he was wearing before that, like he had the whole metal vibe with the, you know, leather pants and the black shirts and all that kind of aesthetic. But like I feel like they have the ultimate, like the kind of fully realized version now with Damian Priest. The match itself, though, to go back to it, like there was a couple of pretty good spots there. He did that, I guess it was a tope. It was a dive over the top rope, and like he completely cleared the top rope. He didn't have to hold on to it. He didn't use anything to guide him. Like it's pretty cool to see a man as big as Martinez or Priest. I'm all thrown off now. Doing those kind of moves. And there's that spot where Keith Lee was on the out. He went past the barricade and threw Priest onto the apron. And it's just like, woof. Like, obviously, it's going to be a lot more fun when they can have those matches where you can actually have the crowd react. Because it seems like Keith Lee, or the way that they're having him wrestle right now, is built on getting these big pops that he would undoubtedly get if there were people there.
Yep.
But it kind of doesn't play out as well. Like, I feel like you'd be able to appreciate this. It's kind of like those like stadium bands, like the stadium rock bands that have these big, massive hits, and they play these like, you know, football stadiums and big coliseums, and they have, you know, then they come out, they play their big hits, they do their encores and all that, and it's based on, you know, this getting this massive crowd reaction that they would always get. But you're having him kind of play like a small club venue, like almost like an acoustic set. And it's not quite what it would be, and it does look a little bit weird and a little bit kind of stilted. But I still really like Keith Lee, and like I said, I think it was a pretty good match. It was a little short, but overall it was pretty enjoyable.
All right. I can't say I disagree with any word you just said. So there you go. I guess that's NXT, right, guys?
Yeah, looking forward to next week with the Gargano and Dijakovic match.
All right. Well, let's try to spend even less time on SmackDown here.
No, we will. Trust.
All right.
Opened up with your favorite wrestler, King Corbin and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I was going to skip that part.
I mean, Corbin was nice and safe.
Oh,
I mean, took very good care of because I know automatically, you know, that's the first thing you want to hear online, you know, from wrestlers and Corbin. He really took care because look, that's the new benchmark in wrestling. Even if you're bland in the ring, as long as you take care of the other guy, and you know what, look, in all sincerity, that should be the number one goal of any match: take care of your opponent. But when you're marginal at best in the ring, that's the next best thing to be. Is safe.
Yeah, he hasn't hurt anyone yet. That's like saying to a truck driver that does coke all day, well, he hasn't fucking killed anyone yet. I mean, it's the same fucking shit, dude. Oh, he hasn't hurt anyone yet. Fuck that guy. Yeah, let's skip that match. I'd rather talk about Carmella versus Mandy Rose than that match, and that's sad. That's sad.
I mean, well, if I'm trying to glean my highlight, which I should have brought up a couple weeks ago when it happened, the Sonya Deville. She had that promo a couple weeks ago that was badass, and this, I'm really digging her psycho bitch role right now.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was a little worried after that promo that she did, because I'm like, okay, now where do they go from here? Where does she get to keep that passion and this and that? I'm glad they found a way to do it. And yeah, it was kind of cool. She came out like during the whole match, she's just talking shit and talking shit and talking shit. Like, really good. I liked it. I thought it was kind of a good little nuance that they haven't done in a long time.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, we're talking about the Mandy Rose and Carmella Money in the Bank qualifier match, which Carmella won, for anybody that cares. But it's one of those deals where she's playing a character right now that's easily transferable. Because obviously the heat right now is with the Mandy feud, but the character is, if they continue to flesh it out the way that they have, they can transfer it to any feud. So it's not like she is going to all of a sudden lose this passion and this rage if she starts feuding with Naomi or Bayley out of the blue.
Well, here, Antox asked, was the Corbin Bryan match bad?
No. At least I want to speak for you. It wasn't bad to me. It was just basic.
I didn't watch it.
Well, I mean, the thing, it seemed like to me, which I had actually started a wall of text in the chat room that I'd now deleted because I didn't know if we would mention that or not. It wasn't bad. Like, I feel like if there was anybody else in that spot and you actually did watch it, I feel like you would enjoy it. Like, it wasn't like match of the year kind of quality, of course, but it seemed like it was definitely, it seemed like Bryan had the bulk of the control in terms of like calling the match. And I don't know if this is just his style or not, because he usually kind of bores me to tears and I try to fast forward through a lot of his shit because I know we're not going to talk about it anyway. But Corbin spent a lot of time like working limbs, working arms, working legs, like just focusing on actually breaking down body parts, like sort of an old school style, which was surprising to me. That could be his MO, and I just haven't paid enough attention. But it seemed it was very kind of an old school style because you had, like I said, you had him working the limbs, and then you had Bryan kind of using his overall knowledge and strategy to kind of overcome somebody who had the size and strength advantage over him. It's not going to make you any happier. It's going to make things only far worse. But it actually kind of reminded me of those old like Bret Hart matches when he was like world champion. He'd go up against the bigger guys.
And real quick, kudos to Bryan. He did a pre-match promo, hyping up the whole Money in the Bank concept. And he mentioned, at one point, this is probably the most unique match I'll ever be in. I wrestled in bars and strip clubs and strip malls and. And I've seen some of those matches too.
Western bars. Like, I wonder if there's some reason, like, he specifically was told not to say cowboy or like redneck, because I mean that's what he was going for. Was I wrestled in front of a lot of people who had Confederate flag tattoos. Like, okay, well, good for you.
Oh shit! Confederate flag tattoos. The South will rise again.
That's right.
Shit.
Didn't George Haney use that for a title way back when?
I don't
Confederate think. I think it was like Confederate Doug or something.
I think that might have been one. Confederate Doug.
I forgot I forgot how that came up, but it was funny.
I'm just gonna skip what just rolled through my mind. So, guys, the Forgotten Sons versus New Day. Let's move to that real quick. I didn't see this match, guys.
It'd be easy if you told us what you did say.
Dude, I told you guys I was playing chicken foot with my kids. During all of most of this, but I mean, I did see some of the matches, but this was a very intense moment. I had to pay attention. Or my kids were being little shits and I had to yell at them. One of the two.
No, it wasn't a bad match. Forgotten Sons got the win. Which I had no problem with because New Day, they're basically bulletproof, at least in my opinion. They can absorb the loss.
Yeah.
And the Forgotten Sons surprisingly came across very well last week with the little tag team summit with a Lucha House Party and Miz and Morrison and all them guys. So it was a good first step into building towards the next tag team title feud.
All right. There you go. Smart.
Yeah, I watched it. But, like, I'd be hard-pressed to tell you anything that I really found memorable out of it. You had Miz and Morrison doing the commentary. They were about 8 weeks late, but they decided to go ahead and throw up a couple of Tiger King references because you have to be topical. Michael Cole was, like, kind of talking shit, and one of them asked if he wanted to throw a singlet back on, get in the ring again with him. That was probably the highlight if I actually had to look for one. I don't know, like, they're not bad wrestlers, but there's just something about the Forgotten Sons that just doesn't connect with me. They just seem like super generic. So like the match wasn't bad, but I just really kind of didn't care about the outcome.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like I said, outside of fucking, is it Jason Riker, TNA dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that literally that's the only one of the group I know.
I think there's him, the Cutler. I think he's Steve Cutler, I want to say.
Yep.
But his last name's Cutler. And then Blake.
Yeah, Wesley Blake. Yeah. Yeah. So, because then those were the two in the match tonight. Gunner wasn't. Gunner's the other one. Right?
That's what his name was. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, he wasn't even in this match. So, but again, didn't see it. I apologize. It was a very well. Again, I can't remember if it was an intense moment or my kids were just being insufferable.
Now, something interesting that Michael Cole did bring up on the show, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. With the Money in the Bank ladder match taking place at WWE headquarters, right? Mm-hmm. Apparently, they're going to do both matches simultaneously, as in the same time. At first, I thought this was a kayfabe news thing. I had to go back and watch. Yeah, he did say that. So, what do you guys think of that? And is that going to be like information overload? Because I can't even imagine how much of a clusterfuck they're going to have. How much of a clusterfuck that's going to come across as. I mean, obviously, I know they can. This is 2020. They got the technology to do a split screen, but I feel like there's going to be too much going on at one time.
I think you just nailed the term. This is going to be a clusterfuck. It's going to be a clusterfuck. Absolutely.
Does that enhance your anticipation for the match?
No.
Or does it like turn you off a little bit? Like,
it makes me want to go to bed early Sunday night. Next Sunday, not this Sunday. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm going to watch just to see what the hell they do. The curiosity has me. I'm not going to lie. But this is going to be, if they're going to do this, I mean, why? I don't know. We'll see. We will see how they do it. Hopefully they use technology well, but right now I don't care. I just don't
Smart.
care. And see, I have expectations, but I have expectations of it being like a total shit show, but like in a very positive way. Like I'm looking forward to that aspect of it. Like I'm hoping for a car crash because I feel like that would be the most entertaining thing. If you somehow had like just a technically proficient wrestling match that just happened on various floors of corporate headquarters, that would probably be like the worst thing you could ask for or receive from this overall concept. Like I'm just hoping that it is just the absolute, like one of those moments that you know while you're watching it that like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, we're going to look back and laugh at how fucking stupid it was. That's my hope. So hopefully it's like historically bad and not just, this kind of sucked.
Wow, you're going for like, you really want to see it go bad. So, all right. Well, there you go. Good to see Smark's expectations are low on that pay-per-view.
They're high, but they're high in hopes that it's like really bad.
Yeah. I mean, low meaning whatever.
I'm operating at peak pessimism is the point.
There you go.
Yeah, because we're almost done with it. With the SmackDown thing, I'm struggling here to think of anything else to talk about with SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean the main event was Otis and Dolph, and
Otis won. He's my man, Otis. He's going to the Money in the Bank. Won't win it, but at least he's gonna get some shine.
Yeah, and a little too many oh yeahs tonight in the little promo he did with Mandy. Too many, and obviously we didn't bring up Mandy did get hurt. And, Otis was back there, and before the match, they had this little stare down where Otis was all pissed off. And I got to tell you one thing, I would not want a man the size of Otis even looking at me the way he was looking at Dolph. I would probably pull my gun in fear.
Can we talk about that? That was like the fakest interaction ever, though. Like, I get it. It's showbiz, it's wrestling. So Otis goes in to check on Mandy. The trainer goes, "Don't, Otis, I got it. You know, back up a little bit." He walks off, bumps into Dolph. How's Mandy? It looked like a scene out of Saved by the Bell. How's Mandy? And then Otis just kind of stands there huffing and puffing like, as they fade to black. And I don't know, man. It's just,
yeah,
that was like an example of what would not happen in real life if that was a real life situation.
Yeah, I was like, why are they just showing off fucking, Otis's deviated septum? I don't get it. But
look, I get it. It's wrestling, and you got to suspend your disbelief with a lot of shit. But that, I don't know, that just came across very, fake, faker than usual when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah. It was a little, but again, man, you got no crowd, you got no interaction, I don't know, man.
And
a lot of things in wrestling are coming off just really hokey lately, and I don't know if it's all if it's all the fault of, I don't know what it's the fault of.
Yeah, but and some lighthearted news, we finally got to see the bright side of the Jeff Hardy story.
Yes,
and can we give kudos? I would be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out to Chuck Palumbo's production values, because my God, with that video package, the comeback, chapter 4 of Jeff Hardy's story, they were fucking magicians editing around Matt Hardy's appearances and those clips. Like, just when you thought you were about to see Matt Hardy, like, nope, motherfucker,
nope,
crowd shot.
Crowd.
Like,
go to the crowd, quick.
Like the closest you got to a Matt Hardy reference in that video is, I don't know if you saw, he had Jeff had on a T-shirt like with like a bunch of names on the back, like Shannon Moore, Shane Helms. At the very top was Matt Hardy. That was the closest you got to a Matt Hardy reference.
That was it.
Like, he literally was deleted.
They're like,
out of WWE history.
I see what you did there. I caught that.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And clearly they're building towards a Sheamus and Jeff Hardy feud.
I
don't know. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about this weird obsession that they have with having Sheamus browbeat Michael Cole every week?
Let me tell you something. I am all for browbeating Cole, but Sheamus, I guess if anyone's going to browbeat Michael Cole, I guess it can be Sheamus, but I don't care, to be honest with you. I really don't give a shit.
I guess that's a no from you. You don't have any interest in seeing the Jeff Hardy and Sheamus feud.
No, I'm kind of confused on what they're going to do with Jeff Hardy at all after the Sheamus feud. But yeah, I don't care about Sheamus. To me is just, you know what the sad thing is? He seems like a really good guy, but WWE is just completely just made me not give a fuck about him at all. So good job, WWE. Way to go.
Honestly, believe it or not, one of their more decorated performers, though. Like, because I know Sheamus isn't everybody's cup of coffee, but man, he's accomplished a lot. When you really take a step back, multi-time world champion, U.S. champion, main eventer. Only two things I believe he hadn't done yet is like main event at WrestleMania and win the IC title. But he's pretty decorated.
Yeah, you had to bring it up. Anyway, probably next week he'll get the IC title. But anyway.
Oh yeah, because he might. Because I don't know if you noticed, he's been MIA, the Intercontinental Champion.
Who the hell is the Intercontinental Champion right now? I don't even.
Sami Zayn.
That's right. He's afraid of getting the Rona.
So like, how do you think that's going to end? Do you think they're going to end up stripping him of the belt because he hasn't been seen since WrestleMania? I know the IC title doesn't mean what it used to mean, but it's just weird that it's still weird not having that title around this long.
Nah, they only use that thing when they need to. Don't worry about that whole 30-day thing. But I don't know. What else you guys got? Otherwise, I believe Antox just gave us a little something to end the show on that was a little more upbeat.
I have just one little thing.
Go for it.
It was during the main event. Because the main event was Ziggler versus Otis.
Yep.
And the match was fine. It went as long as it needed to go, which it was a short match is what I'm trying to say. But the end, like, obviously they have their whole rivalry going on. And it ended with, like, Otis, like, seeing red and basically, like, getting really fired up. But the funny thing is that, like, it's such a weird thing that his finisher is basically the caterpillar. Because you just hear Michael Cole on commentary just being like, Otis is really fired up now. And all of a sudden he launches into the fucking caterpillar and drops the elbow. Like, it's just like the least intimidating thing to see when you're seeing somebody like get really pissed off.
Yeah, I'm hoping the day Otis goes heel, that move goes away.
Yeah,
so, it doesn't even have to. You could just change. You could like put that in at, like, during the match at some point, and then give him actually a legitimate finisher afterwards. Because like The Rock had the people's elbow, but he also had the rock bottom.
You're right. I agree.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Smart. I guess to kind of bottom line of SmackDown talk. That caterpillar, man, you could tell Otis was ready to take that shit home because when he hit that elbow, boy, it wasn't even an elbow. Because you know how normally he gets a little bit of height. He literally just collapsed on poor dog. Like, Jesus. It was like a tree falling. Timber.
You are extremely right. He didn't really jump as much as he just kind of aggressively fell forward.
Yeah, he was ready to take that shit home. You could just tell. He's like, yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah. Been a long week.
Yeah, but I feel like that. I feel like that was like Vince maybe having some fun. I guarantee you that elbow, it came across kind of bad because that probably was like take 47 of that match. Because Vince just kind of got a hard on, like he's really fat. Let me make him hit that move a couple hundred times.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, Smart gave us a little more of an upbeat note to end the show on. I know that it's already the next day, but yesterday when we started the show, technically, it was the anniversary of the Scott Steiner math promo.
Yes.
So we've got to play it, right?
Of course.
Thank you, Antox. Appreciate it, buddy.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at Sacrifice, you got a 33 1/3 chance of winning. But I got a 66 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 1/3 chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 1/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning. If we used to go one-on-one and then add 66 2/3%, I got 141 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice. See, but I'm going to break it down for all you ladies. Would you rather be with me, or would you rather be with Joe?
Well, I think Joe's kind of nice. I mean, you know.
See, you one of those girls that like romance. I'm gonna talk to all my freaks out there. Would you rather come home to me, a genetic freak, to be satisfied every night, or go home to that fat-ass Samoa Joe? See, tonight, we're gonna win, and I'm gonna be the world champion at Sacrifice. Come on, P, let's go.
Scotty, just like you always say, Big Papa Pump has got your hookup. Well, Maple Leaf Muscle is who you need to look up. Holler if you hear that.
All right. So there we go, guys.
Yeah, so, and like to kind of like circle back to something Smart said earlier about the whole, Velveteen Dreams go-to line of, hey, so what school do you go to? You think about that line and think about what Scott Steiner just said. That's a man who knows what he wants, and he's not afraid to ask for it very aggressively.
Yeah, as I'm listening to that, I thought, man, I am just way too high to listen to this. But
we should have pulled out the fat ass promo. You that would have really fucked you up.
He's fat, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean this?
He's fat.
Yeah.
He's fat.
No, it was another one. Yeah, he just went on fat asses.
Yeah,
that might have been. I can't remember that. I can't remember what era it came. It might have been like during the main event Mafia run.
Man, imagine if he said that.
Directed at the Dudley Boys.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if he said that now. They'd be like, he's fat shaming. Cancel Scott Steiner.
No, my God, there would be an 80-minute YouTube video from Joey Ryan.
Oh, God. Joey Ryan.
Bully culture, bro.
David Starr. He'd be like, this is exactly why we need unions. Oh, go fucking suck a cock, you fucker. Anyway, where were we? I thought we were ending on an upbeat note, guys. What happened?
I would like to, and this is a conversation for another day, but I would really like to sort of be able to at some point pinpoint like the moment where Scott Steiner kind of just went from like, because the early period in their careers, or when they were wrestling as the Steiner brothers with him and Rick,
mm-hmm.
like they were very widely regarded as being like really good technical wrestlers,
mm-hmm.
or like at least kind of more of a strong, maybe some like more of a strong style type. But at what point did like it just click to him to just go from like legitimate, solid, proficient wrestler to just what he became and what he is now?
I want to say 90, maybe 95, 96, because I feel like when they came back to WCW around that time period, he came back basically at Big Papa Pump size. Because there was a period between like 96, 97 where you just gradually saw him get bigger and bigger, and he could still wrestle, he could still do cool shit, but you could just he was starting to kind of like slow down a little bit and become more of a power-based guy, throw a lot of suplexes. And then he just morphed into what he morphed into. He cut the mullet, dyed his hair blonde, which I think is the funniest shit ever, when literally he changed his whole look. He always tells us, so he came into the locker room and nobody recognized him. They said, who's this guy?
Well, I forget what shoot interview it was, but he said when he got hurt and then came back as a heel, he wanted to look completely different. And obviously he did. He looked completely different, like Anthony just said. No one even recognized him. But I don't know, man. I think at some point he just, that was it. He just wanted to go heel, didn't want to be in his brother's shadow, and maybe thinks he's a little better on the mic than he is. But Antox once again posted one more promo. Let's go ahead and play it. 50 seconds, guys. Let's raw at this.
Rick and Scott Steiner, let me welcome you back.
Oh, Team 3D, you guys are out of your mind. Coming to Atlanta, Georgia, the place that the Steiner brothers got their start in professional wrestling. You guys are out of your mind, making it a table match, because tonight we're going to beat you at your own game. And after it's all said and done, you're going to be taking splinters out of your fat asses all night long because you got some fat asses. The only only chance you have no chance, but you had a chance, is that you can run lickety-split. Because you can't run because you got some fat asses. And after it's done, we're going to have a tailgate party for all my freaks out there in Atlanta, Georgia. You wanted some, you got some. This is the big time, boys. You come down that aisle, the Steiner brothers has got something for you. Ooh, it's a dog pound. Ooh.
There you go. Fat asses. My God.
Have a chance, but you did have a chance.
There you go, man.
And to be fair, I don't think his wrestling ability really deteriorated until after WCW. Because he threw some shit in there still, but I think by the time he started going to the Indies and the WWE run and TNA, that's when you really started to kind of see, like, yeah.
I think it's interesting because you just never see it happen that way. Normally, it's like you get like people that are good at promos that like eventually learn how to wrestle, or you get people that are good at wrestling that eventually learn how to do good promos. But you never really see somebody like get good at promos or become famous because of their promos and then just like completely give up on wrestling, or just their skills deteriorate somehow. Which I mean, I guess it happens with age and with injury, but it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, and that's what happened. He got old. And let's face it, man, you can only carry that much mass around for so long. It takes a toll on your body to be that big. And that's for a lot of guys. A lot of the bigger guys, and that's unfortunately why we lose some guys before we should, because it does take a toll on your body to be a fucking to carry that much mass around. So I don't know, man. Scott Steiner was great, and then suddenly, you're right, he did. He just changed out of nowhere. But I feel in some ways, I kind of feel bad for the guy because he did come back. He got really gassed up, and I mean,
you think so?
Well, listen,
or was all a protein?
He's never fucking shied away from the fact that he did fucking roids, and it's taken a toll on him. And I mean, look at him now. I mean, unfortunately, the guy just had a really bad fucking thing, and he's okay, but man, take the toll on your body, man.
So let me ask you this, because there was actually a Steiner heel turn that never really materialized in the early 90s, because Bill Watts wanted to turn this guy heel in the worst way, because the Scott Steiner that we eventually got with the Big Papa Pump character. Mm-hmm. So apparently he's always kind of had that reputation for always kind of like being like a bit of a grouch and being like a bit of a loose cannon. And Bill Watts wanted to put this on camera. So he did kind of tease a little heel run towards the end of the Steiner Brothers' first WCW run, but it never really went anywhere, and they eventually left. Do you think it would have been better to turn him heel during that kind of like all-American run, as opposed, or do you think that they turned him heel at the right time because it was the 90s, it was the Attitude Era, that's where everything was going, and it would have been kind of weird to have like Scott Steiner with the mullet, and even though he probably was more so into the athletic prime, because I feel like you might have got better matches, but I feel like the timing probably would have been off. Yeah,
I think it was the right time to turn him. Definitely the right time.
You'll take the mediocre wrestling, but more over the top personality versus good matches, and so maybe so promos.
Yeah. I mean, he was older anyway when he turned, so yeah, I got no issues with it. Smart.
I hate to say it, but yeah, I'm very much that way too. Like, I would rather you just have really good promos and just kind of average wrestling than be really great at wrestling and be really mediocre at promos. As long as there's something to latch onto at least. And I was kind of listening to his promos, and like Bach said, he's not necessarily the best, but he kind of has like a little bit of like Ultimate Warrior vibes to him, where it's like some of it's like kind of nonsensical and rambling, but like it's delivered with such intensity and like passion that it's just entertaining and fun to watch, and it just gives you a laugh.
No, but you know what the key to a good Scott Steiner promo is? Unpredictability.
Sure.
All of his promos, he was always on edge. You never knew what he was going to say. And like that's what made it go. That's why like some of those WCW promos to this day are fucking legendary.
Yep. The
promo where he cut on fucking Ric Flair. Shit. If I could find it, I would play it. I would have you play it, Bob.
Probably fucking time to get out of here, guys. To be honest with you, it's late.
That's tired. We'll do a promo episode one day.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, I'm fucking tired. I know everybody else is too. So, I think it is time to get the fuck out of here. Let's go ahead and wrap this show up, guys. Wrestling OD. Check out the Wrestling Overdose. Actually, just go to nuclearheatshop.com, chairshottees.com, and clotheslined media.com. Check out the High Marks, Cheeseman, Mojo, and G-Wiz over there. And, of course, Bobby Anthem and Bobby Blades on the Inhuman Experience. Check out those guys. Unscripted Wrestling. You want to definitely take a listen to that. And Stephen Milan. Go check out his movie reviews on Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan. And, of course, subscribe, rate, review. Follow us on Spreaker. Follow us on YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM. Anthony, go for it.
Bottom Line Pro Wrestling Podcast. Jason Clark, available on Google Play, iHeart, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Download, subscribe, leave a review. Same with us. And also, Rant Time with Ray, available on Spotify, Google, iHeart, wherever you get your podcast, leave a review. She just started up last month, so she's 4 episodes in. Check it out.
There you go. All right, everybody, chat room, definitely appreciate you guys hanging with us tonight. Anyone who downloads the show, we definitely appreciate it. And we will definitely see you guys on Wednesday. Smark, great to have you back, buddy. Glad everything's okay. And see you Wednesday too, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. See you.